What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Nordstead Point live D&D stream, or as I like to call it, Hunter's Heavy Metal Fantasy. Our DM, Hunter Cormier, not only wrote this adventure on his own, but he made all the cool maps you'll see us playing on tonight. Our players are Eddie, Savannah, and Matt. You can catch us streaming every Thursday night around 10 o'clock. We're simulcasting on both the Nerd Jam Facebook page as well as on Twitch at twitch.tv/NerdJamTV. By the way, Hunter and Eddie have this really dope podcast called At Proficiency. You can check it out on the website. If you want to enhance your tabletop experience, go give it a look. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
What is happening, you guys? How
Doing great.
My dogs are also doing quite well.
Oh, good.
Doing pretty good. And then there's a pupper over there that's like, I'm fantastic.
It's a Thursday.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Nordstead Point. Just in case you guys don't know, we have our beloved Matt playing Bruce Fantana, who is a level 4 monk. We have Eddie playing Victor Mutare, a level 4 artificer. And Savannah playing Buttercup, who is a Gloomstalker ranger with a 1-level dip in rogue. Which, as we've seen, is basically a commando combo.
I had no idea that's what she was going to become, but I'm kind of ecstatic that she did.
It's pretty awesome that she did. So before we get started, let's go into a little bit of recap. Here's what we're looking at. The last session ended with Jocelyn showing, who's one of the locals here, showing Victor and Bruce around town because Victor had pulled out the sketchings of the drawings, the cave engravings that he had seen down in the distant cave, and shown that sketch to one of the locals, who then showed him, hey, like, we have seen this symbol in a couple places around town, which are actually these large coral formations which have sort of like degraded over time. So he was just showing you guys this around town. Buttercup, you spent the last night well, you had a pretty intense last night, let's be real. You were just taking a nap in the Clifton house, taking a snooze, when screams woke you up. Cecily Clifton was screaming in her bed. Beatrice Clifton was hovering off her bed and singing these sort of like echoing ephemeral notes. There was rain, sort of like, or what you guys later discovered was actually seawater that was sort of dripping up off the floorboards towards the ceiling. And a couple visitors came and hung out with you guys. Sort of crawling out of the water bucket, which was destroyed along with the Clifton's door by Mr. Fantana. And so after an exhausting night of you, Buttercup, after after killing those two Marrow with a knife, you basically stayed up all night and managed to get a wink of sleep this morning. So you are currently sleeping on the table in a raining room with Beatrice Clifton, who is singing in there. A couple minor details. Victor still has 4 crab eggs. Buttercup found that there's healing moss in the distant cave below. Between you guys, you have a set of massive pincers and 4 shell slabs. Buttercup has not yet used her Aquamarine amulet. The carpenter, Nicholas, who is kind of a quiet guy, offered to furnish your cave for you as sort of repayment for, you know, helping out the town, and said just swing by my shop in the morning, which it is now morning. Bruce has 30 prime shark teeth, or Victor does rather, but Bruce has requested a necklace. I don't know if that's changed or not. Has it?
At this point, he's expecting a necklace.
Okay, a necklace. And Victor, you're more than capable of putting that together. And Victor and Bruce, last night, the two of you made note that Buttercup is clearly much more capable than her disarming demeanor and name would suggest. All in all, you guys have told each other very little about yourselves, but the three of you have sort of shown each other at this point that you're all exceedingly capable visitors to the town. So, that brings us to this morning. Victor and Bruce, the two of you are currently at the tip of the peak, sort of examining this coral formation here, which is sort of degraded and odd, but does bear a striking similarity to the sketchings in the cave. And Buttercup, you are currently napping in here.
Yep, I lead such a fun life right now. How's she recover?
That's right. After a moment, Cecily is going to sort of like come back and like close the door. Just as she left her, Beatrice is hovering over the bed, her hair sort of like rippling as if floating in water outward. The saltwater rain is still drifting towards the ceiling. And Buttercup, you're going to feel a hand sort of like shake you awake. You hear, Buttercup, wake up.
She startles awake. She's like, huh? Yes, I didn't do it. Oh.
You
Hello.
open your eyes on the table, Buttercup. And Cecily is sort of looking upwards at the ceiling, and so are you. And the two of you see that the salt water, which has floated towards the ceiling, has actually begun to gather, and there is a thick layer of seawater across the ceiling.
Well, that doesn't look too good.
Cecily's frowning at you, and she says, I don't know if it's safe here anymore.
At that point, Buttercup looks at her, looks at Beatrice, and then the ceiling. And she very nonchalantly just looks at Cecily, and she's like, well, do you got some rope?
She says, some rope? No, but I could easily enough get it from the general store.
That would probably be a good idea. And let's see about getting a couple of gentlemen here, and if we can relocate to a new house and see if all the weird stuff stops here, so that way we can get it cleaned up, and the rope is to make sure she doesn't float off.
Okay, when you say this, Cecily frowns, and you can see there's a bunch of conflict in her. She says, well, that's the thing. She says, I am afraid to stay here, yet I fear for my daughter. I don't wish to leave my daughter. All the same, the others, they don't really want to take me in either. And I've been offered a furnished room in the stables. And she says, as for my daughter, and she sort of turns and looks over at Beatrice, who's just sort of hovering in the air, again, like singing without breath. She says, I don't know what to do about this. I've never seen anything like this, and everyone's afraid. No one wants to take me in for fear that the same thing should happen to them.
Buttercup starts muttering under her breath about how she wants to, like, kneecap some people and punch some dudes in the balls. But in the end, she turns to Cecily and she's like, I understand your fears, and I also understand the fears of the townspeople. However, you have, like, this reverse flooding going on. I, too, do not understand what is going on. But the best that I can think of right now is to relocate her. The only other place that I know of is a cave, but that is way too close to the water for my comfort.
She shakes her head. She says, surely you're not talking about the cave down there. And she sort of points towards the ground.
Yeah, that cave. Don't worry about it. Anything that was in there is long dead.
Okay. Is that what you guys intend to do at some point?
What do you guys think?
You're going to relocate Beatrice to the cave?
Sure.
I was about to say, we went there, so we don't really get a choice in.
It's everyone's cave, so you get a choice.
Are you gonna come talk to us? Is Buttercup gonna come talk to Bruce and Victor about what I mean, otherwise, it's your decision to
You
just take her
might want to
downstairs.
check with them, Buttercup, before you're like, hey, because Bruce and Victor had both sort of, you guys have spoken amongst yourselves about using the cave as like a base of operations, because the three of you are visitors in the town.
Touche. No, Buttercup would definitely go look for them and talk to them, as well as see if she can, fish out any sort of options from the townsfolk while she,
Okay.
hobbles. And she's going to make it all sorts of over dramatic because, she got stabbed, and see if they will feel pity for her.
Okay. All right. So you are going to go find the boys?
Yep. And she looks at Cecily. She's like, let me go see if I can go talk to the gentleman that arrived in town around the same time that I did and get their perspective of it. Are you okay watching Beatrice?
And she nods. Her blonde hair sort of wet, but still managing to bounce a little bit. You see the dark, tired rings under her eyes, and she says, "Of course, I'll be here with my little girl, with Beatrice." And she sort of like, I don't know. She doesn't want. So there's not really many places in this room that are dry, so she's mostly hanging out either on her bed or on the table because the water's just dripping up around the edges,
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the two of you are deeply concerned about the thick layer of water, which is about like a 3-foot layer of water across the ceiling at this point. So Buttercup, you're gonna step out. Victor and Bruce, the two of you guys were shown around this morning by Jocelyn, who showed you this this statue, or not statue, silly me, this coral formation over here.
What else did she show us?
Jocelyn is a man.
Oh. What else did he show us?
Are you assuming gender, Matthew?
That was pretty much it. Jocelyn was... Oh, I haven't updated your health. The Jocelyn was showing you guys the coral formation, which was similar to the sketchings of the cave drawings that Victor had done, or the cave engravings Victor had made. At this, Jocelyn's going to sort of clap his hands together and say, like, well, all right. I let you guys know what was going on with that symbol. Is there anything else I can do for you this morning?
What is Jocelyn's thing?
What is Jocelyn's thing?
Yeah.
Jocelyn's like a carpenter.
Okay.
Like, what kind of person is he?
Yeah, what role does he have in the town?
You know what? I like that. Jocelyn can be a carpenter. He is one of the people that work at the carpentry shop with Nicholas. He's gonna sort of say, like, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Nicholas was talking about doing something for the two of you back at the carpentry
yes,
shop.
indeed. If you would like, I can take you down to the cave in question, and we can take measurements, that kind of thing, whatever you need.
I just want everyone to know right now, I don't care how many people are in my cave, I'm going to be doing naked yoga, so I'm just warning everyone right now.
What?
I gotta stay limber.
Right, this is now Jocelyn.
Whoa, he's huge.
So he's gonna be like, it's like, yeah, if you like, I can come down, get some measurements, and put some things together, depending on what it is you guys are wanting. Do you want to take him down that way, Victor?
Yes. Would we be able to have gotten hold of a rope ladder for easier access up?
You guys have already set a rope. There is easy access.
Awesome.
You guys
let's go
had
ahead.
put that for Buttercup before realizing that she absolutely does not need it. In fact, if you
that's right.
recall, she sort of Legolased her way down the rocks. But either way, you guys are going to walk this way just at about the same time that Buttercup is stepping outside the cottage. Buttercup, turning to your left, you see Bruce and Victor accompanied by one of the locals, who seeing you and sort of recognizing your role after hearing all the hubbub, because I think it was Victor had actually called to gather a bunch of townspeople and had done pretty well. Jocelyn knows well about the what's going on at the Clifton house, and he sort of gives you a nod. He says, "Miss."
Hello there, how are you?
And he says, "Well, I'm doing better than you are, I'm sure. I hear you're helping out the Clifton girl," and he sort of nods towards the house. He says, "Is there anything you can tell us about what's going on in there? Some kind of madness, I hear." The two of, or rather, everybody sort of looks over at the Clifton door, which is currently sitting ajar.
She kind of chuckles to herself and looks back at the Clifton house and then back at Jocelyn. I honestly don't know what is happening. The best I am trying to do is keep Cecily sane and figure out how to get them in a place that is more comfortable, because currently it's like flooding in reverse in the house and it's not safe there anymore.
Wow, as you say this, you see him, as you say sane and then you say flooding in the house, he's going to sort of like turn a shade paler, and he says, "Flooding in the house, you say?" He says, "Sane," and he says, he's going to actually walk over to the window and sort of peek in, as many other villagers have at this point, at some point during the night, and then sort of walk over, and he says, "What madness is this? Why has this come to our village?"
I'm not sure what it is. Poor Cecily is so tired. She wants to do the best that she can for her child, but her child is it's floating, and I don't have a medical term for that other than what the fuck is that?
Jocelyn is going to look at Bruce and then at Victor before looking back at you, Buttercup, and he's going to sort of ask all three of you, be honest. Do you think we should just be done with the lass and get this out of our home?
At that, Buttercup. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Victor narrows his eyes at Jocelyn. Says, "Young man, I am a doctor. We do not abandon patients unless I'm sure if you had been missing a leg or something and you couldn't be carried further, you would not want to be left behind."
And he sort of holds his hands up, kind of taken aback, and he says, "Whoa, whoa, like, I don't mean it like that, boys, but like," and he sort of jabs his thumb over his shoulder back towards the house, and he says, "That don't seem like no doctor work to me."
At this point, Buttercup has, like, when he first mentioned saying, pretty much, do away with the girl, she pulled out the knife that she used to kill the Marrows and is currently cleaning underneath her fingernails while leaning on that spear that she pulled out of her and just humming to herself while looking at him, obviously showing her displeasure at what he had initially said.
All right, hold on. He's going to roll perception with that. An 8, okay. So he doesn't notice you pull out the knife, but when you're sort of casually picking your fingernails, he sort of cocks an eyebrow at that, and he's like, look, I don't mean no offense, but I just don't want the same thing that happened to the Odos and the Tims to happen to any of us. He says, especially since this Clifton girl's acting so strange. He says, but my mouth's gotten me in enough trouble. He says, take me, or actually he knows where this cave is. He's like, do you want to go do these measurements?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get that done. And I kind of offhandedly comment as we're walking, is like, well, magic is simply science that we haven't quite grasped yet.
He's like, yeah, whatever you say, Doc. Bruce, you've been quiet. What do you feel about all this? You walk past the door that you bashed in last night, seeing it still sort of stiffly, like, crookedly sitting in the frame.
So, Bruce is certain that death will claim all of his friends at some point. However, he will do everything he can to protect them, because he is Bruce Santana.
Hey, happens to everyone. Okay. Well, that's great, Bruce. I hope none of you guys fucking die. But anyways, all of you guys sort of get to this cave here. You are wanting to take Jocelyn into the cave.
Yeah.
All right. So, entering the cave or climbing down the rope, rather, that he sees you guys have set up, he makes the 25-foot friggin' rappel, whatever. And dropping down to this cave where you guys are not still stacked over here, kind of hereabouts-ish. Buttercup, there's still a bunch of healing moss kind of heaped on the floor. And Jocelyn sort of stepping in, sort of looks around. He's like, huh, actually, maybe this isn't so bad. What exactly do you need?
We'll need a door for the entrance. Possibly some tables and chairs as well as bunks. We may be able to find cots or something of that nature.
Okay.
Seeing as I
Tables-
don't...
How many tables do you need? Y'all don't
Well,
want,
I
y'all
need-
don't want beds? Like, you said beds.
I mean,
and
beds
bunks,
would be
right?
great. Beds would be great, but I need labs.
You need what? I'm sorry? Lab space?
Yes, I need lab space.
Okay. I also want to point out that these two corpses, which are now 2 days old, are beginning to stink pretty badly.
Oh yeah, we need to get these out of here.
Jocelyn sort of crinkles his nose, but takes note of... Oh, that can't be right. What's the measurements on this? Maybe that is right.
2 dead giant crab things.
Yeah, setting up a door for this place won't be any problem. Putting together some cots shouldn't be an issue. Maybe we can get you guys some like straw for the beds or something if you're looking for, like quick solutions. Because obtaining a mattress is a whole different deal that he can certainly throw together like a bed frame that you guys can throw a bunch of shit on.
Bruce looks
That
at him.
wouldn't be an issue.
Bruce looks at him and says, "Hey, you got a yoga mat?"
He says, a yoga mat. He says, I'm afraid I don't know what yoga is. Can you tell me? I might be able to build one out of wood.
I just need like something soft so I can get naked and do yoga. It's just where I stretch a lot when I'm naked. I sweat a lot too, and I need a place that's like kind of comfortable, I guess, so I can do my naked yoga.
He says, I don't have a mat of my own per se, but I could get you a large burlap sack that you could stuff with like straw or grass or something like that.
Perfect.
Okay. So what are we asking the carpenters for? You guys still haven't gone to Nick's shop, but he's basically sizing up the place. He'll be able to get you guys a door. You have a couple of stinky bodies in here. Buttercup, I see you scoping out that moss over there.
Yeah, Buttercup wants to collect the moss, and that's what she is eventually going to do. I moved her token over there, so that way I would remember. But as Nicholas is talking, she very casually, during the conversation of asking, Victor asking for tables and cots and everything like that, and she turns and looks at Bruce and Victor, and she's like, "It's not safe in the Clifton house. How would you feel about the Cliftons coming here temporarily?"
Bruce and Victor, the two of you guys are remembering the scene from last night. How do you feel about that?
Just a normal day for Bruce Santana.
A nightly siege sounds intriguing.
Well, if we don't do something, the girl will drown or Cecily will drown, and that is not acceptable.
Are you saying they should come
Could we-
and hang out in the cave?
Victor,
Could we not-
Victor and Bruce, it both strikes you guys a little odd that she should say drown. Why would she drown in her house?
Didn't she already tell us about the 3 feet of water in the house?
Did she?
On the
I don't
roof?
think-
I want...
I don't think you
Yeah,
did.
I said it was kind of flooding on the ceiling.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I missed
She said
that.
it was flooding in reverse.
Okay. Never mind. That makes perfect sense. It's flooding in reverse then.
And at
No
this
one bring
point
that
in
girl
time,
here?
she's collecting moss.
While
Buttercup, roll
having
herbalism.
visitors nightly may not be harmful, we could also install a vent into a hole into the roof of the Clifton house so that the water drains through the ceiling. Maybe.
It's possible. It's an idea.
Maybe I can
Buttercup,
throw
roll
the
me
house.
herbalism. I'm sorry. What was that, Bruce?
Maybe I can
You
just
said
throw the house.
herbalism?
God damn it. Sorry, Bruce. Yeah, herbalism.
There you
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Wow. That's pretty fucking good. Okay. Roll me a d10, Buttercup.
Is it backslash in this one or exclamation?
It's
Slash R.
I can never remember. Is it? I think it's forward.
That's forward slash.
Yeah.
And you said a D10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Wow.
Huzzah!
Nice. Very, very nice.
Okay, Buttercup. You have a bunch of raw, unprocessed herb right now. If you were to use this, you could turn it, you could process it using your herbalism kit a little more to refine it. But currently, if you were to eat it raw, it would restore 2d4 plus 2 health.
Nice.
That's a lot, too.
Holla!
Good job with those good rolls. Buttercup, as usual, coming through with the rolls. Victor, Bruce, Buttercup, you guys are cool with bringing the Clifton girl here. Jocelyn's sort of like listening in on this conversation because he's still here.
Are they gonna have a problem with me doing yoga?
I mean, do you feel okay with exposing yourself in front of a
No.
Gentlemen, please, everybody shall be okay here because if you look around, there's a lot of fucking space.
I love how you can hear Eddie laughing, but he didn't press the push to talk.
right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Bruce doesn't have a
Y'all wanna
problem
do
with it. Yeah, absolutely. I think
Okay,
I think
cool.
Bruce
No,
wants
that's
to also like try to take the crustaceans and move them out.
All right.
Yeah, I'll help him with that as well.
Okay. So the boys are going to go ahead and remove the crustaceans. Victor,
Just kind of like roll him into the ocean.
okay. You dump them off the 25-foot cliff, and they just sort of like splash into the water.
Okay, so while they are doing that, Buttercup thinks about that necklace that she has, and she reaches down and she's like in her pack and she's like running her fingers over it, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna put it on because I can hide it in my clothes. So while they're out and doing their thing, she just puts on this necklace, and she's like, oh, this is really
Okay. So Buttercup, as the boys are sort of like stepping out, putting their thing, and you have a moment of solitude, Jocelyn's going to go ahead and piece the hell out of here. He's going back to the carpenter shop to pass it on to Nicholas and get started on that. Buttercup, when you like sort of withdraw this aquamarine necklace, it's this large, it hasn't been cut, this gem. It's like a chunky rock piece of aquamarine on this necklace, which has these shells with these swirly runes like written on them, right? And then as you're examining this aquamarine necklace and you sort of squeeze it, you feel like a pulse in response. It's sort of like vroom, like it sort of like hums as you squeeze it. A very light vibration. And you can put it on easily enough. As usual, you can feel the presence of this in a very unusual way. You get the sense that this is like a witchcraft object, essentially.
As she feels it pulsing, her eyes kind of just get wide a little bit, and she has a sharp intake of breath. But then, after she places it on her, she adjusts it so that she knows she has it on, but it's not something that could be easily seen unless you're necessarily looking for it.
Okay. Again, you can still feel it at the edge of your consciousness. You can feel it there, and you know that if you were to channel your attention into this object, it would respond to you.
And that definitely intrigues her, but right now she doesn't know necessarily how long the boys are going to be gone for because,
Oh, they're
they're
just carrying
wrestling
this thing
some.
out. Yeah, they'll be
Yeah.
right back.
So she's going to wait until she has maybe a little bit more private time to test that out, unless something happens and then she's just going to try it anyway.
Okay, sure. Sounds good to me. So Bruce and Victor, the two of you come back into the cave. You guys have freed up your stuff. Buttercup is sort of standing here doing her own thing. What would y'all like to do for the remainder of the morning?
Naked yoga.
Naked yoga. I will remind you guys that the sailors and them had told you about Finnigan's bucket last night.
Oh, that's right. We were about to head to Finnigan's bucket, weren't we?
Yeah, I believe you guys were actually. I forgot to mention that in the recap.
Okay.
You guys had also.
I voted for going to Norstead Point because that's where all the weirdness was happening.
If you like, you can try and get a boat out to Norstead Point. I had shown you guys the story of the Anne here. I want to point out that if you scroll down from this guy's picture, you actually get the full dialogue of what this guy was telling you guys.
That's so fucking cool, dude. Good work.
Just in case y'all couldn't
Like, for real, that is. It's amazing world building, sir.
Thanks. But, so you guys, what would y'all like to do now? You're all in the cave together. You have agreed to bring the Clifton girl here. Jocelyn is on his way back to Nicholas's carpentry shop, and they're going to work on your stuff together.
I approach Buttercup and ask for a moment of...
Okay. And Victor, this thing that you have, you've been working on for a while.
Yes.
But it's never been tested. It's never been used before. Okay. So go ahead. You approach Buttercup.
Miss Buttercup, I have a slight proposition for you. As a doctor, I happen to specialize in enhancing the human form. I happen to have a special mutagen with me that will give you extrasensory perception. I am not fit to use it myself.
As soon as Victor comes over there, she quirks her brow and slowly eyes him up and down because she doesn't necessarily trust him yet. And at the mention of a mutagen, she's like, oh, a mutagen? So what exactly are you proposing? Are you suggesting that I try said mutagen to see what happens?
Well, as I said, I have been unsuccessful in my efforts of using it on myself. So I would prefer to use it. I would prefer someone who delves into the dark to see such things.
Buttercup.
See,
This guy just told you that he has not successfully used his mutagen on himself, but would like to use it on you. How do you feel about that?
Buttercup is skeptical, but at the same time, there are a couple stitches that she knew she didn't sew correctly. And so she was going to ask for his help anyways, but she turns to him. She's like, if anything happens to me that is not favorable, just understand that I will cut your cock off.
Victor smiles slightly, and is Bruce anywhere in sight of us?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you'd be like off yonder in like a dark corner where a crab is. Stretching.
So, I hold up my left arm and flex and pop out the bone spear from my left arm, just to show her that I actually have been successful in changing.
Buttercup, as Victor sort of like glances around, this like tall, thin figure sort of like he sort of like flexes his wrist back, and then it sort of crackles and bends back at a sharper angle than it should. And like this sort of like narrow, moist slit at his wrist sort of widens as this long bone spear sort of slides out. And the sharp bone is sort of riddled with blood vessels and veins.
First thing she does is hold back to the best of her ability the smallest squeak in existence. Because
It's
that
pretty
legit,
shocking.
yeah, she's, a little bit shocked. But then she nods her head and she's like, all right, I'll try out this mutagen for a price. I need my stitches changed. Can you help me with that?
That would be easy work. We can do those both at the same time, man.
Okay, and just so you know, something unfortunate happens to me, you will be dealt.
As you say, Miss Buttercup. So I'm going to go ahead and break out, use right tool for the job to break out some medical tools, since I don't have any on me.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm going to go ahead and change Buttercup's change Buttercup's bandages. Sorry, I forgot the word for a second.
No, you're
Change
fine.
her bandages and go ahead and fix up her stitches.
How long
then-
a process do you think this would take?
Well, doing the stitches and changing bandages and then administering the mutagen, probably about 30 minutes, maybe.
30 minutes? Okay, so you guys are essentially doing this for the next 30 minutes?
Yes,
So-
making sure.
So while Victor is patching up Buttercup, Bruce, you find yourself doing your own thing. You have 30 minutes to yourself. Jocelyn has just left, and the doctor is patching up Buttercup, the commando, essentially. What would you like to do with your time, Victor? Or Bruce?
Meditate.
Meditate. By the way, what's your health and AC again? Can you remind me?
AC is 18 and 37 hit points.
Very nice. Holy crap, 37?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Excellent. I will go ahead and update that token. So you said you're meditating?
Yes.
Interesting. Can you describe how Bruce Fantana meditates? What does he meditate on? Does he contemplate?
So, in the distance, there's an eagle that you can hear screeching, and Bruce Fantana assumes, like a squat on the ground where he just like. It's so good. I mean, he mostly thinks about babes and like martial arts, I think, but I feel like probably 70% of what he meditates on is himself, and he's just, yeah,
And punching.
yeah, him like stretching and punching, and of course, like every now and then he like flexes intermittently, but then yeah, he just goes back to just thinking and dwelling and restoring the calm and the peace within him.
Bruce, you're contemplating punching, and you're thinking really hard about punching, and the thought occurs to you, what if you punched the ground while you were falling? What would happen?
Bruce Fantana would dent the ground.
You think about this for a while, and you think about that dented ground, and it occurs to you that there might be a better way to fall than most people fall.
I can fall slowly and steadily, and I think this is the point where Bruce would probably go try to climb up a building and get on the roof
Okay.
and jump off.
Okay, go for it. So you're stepping outside the cave. Is that what you're doing? Are you going back into the township?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So while Victor and Buttercup are working on their applications, Victor, or I'm sorry, I keep saying Victor. Bruce steps outside the cave. Bruce, you are solo. What would you like to do out here?
So the closest building would be. Let's see.
Like either the Clifton House or just this other house down here,
Okay.
whichever. Probably the Clifton House is the closest.
I'm gonna climb up the Clifton House.
Okay.
Stark naked.
He put his pants back on.
Okay, just making sure.
He's lawful good. He definitely wants everyone to know he's going to be naked, and if they have a problem with it, they need to not be around.
So he's warning everybody about his nakedness. That's
Yeah.
Does Bruce Fantana climb the rope?
Bruce, how high up is it?
It's about 25 feet up.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, he climbs the rope. I'd have to expend a key point to do that.
Okay. So Bruce, he's sort of just like, climb up the rope. You're going to climb on top of the Clifton House?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So climbing to the top of the Clifton House, you've actually got a pretty good sight of town around here. There are a couple people sort of walking about town. Nothing major.
Okay. I guess I just take a running start and just jump off the side of the roof and do like a couple of flips and then land with my fist in the ground.
All majestic like.
All majestic
Okay.
like.
All right, Bruce. So you're taking about, because the height of that house, I would say, is about like 15 feet. So you're taking about a 40-foot fall.
Okay.
15 plus 25, yeah.
Works for me.
All right, go ahead and roll me that slow fall.
Do I roll slow fall?
I think you do. Do you not?
No, it's so I can absorb 20 HP of damage.
Just flat 20
Flat
every
20.
time?
It is 5 times your monk level. So
oh my god,
it
that's
only grows.
perfect.
It's crazy.
So with 18 damage, Bruce, you just like, and you like flip off and somersault. And as you come towards the ground, you like focus all of your inner energy, and right as you're coming down, you strike the ground as hard as you can, which just like splinters the rock and it makes this like as the rock sort of like caves like beneath you. And you realize that you have learned to fall in a way that others have not. And that this is clearly the superior method of falling.
He then flexes. Does anyone see him?
That's my perception check to hear him from inside the cave.
You didn't gather anybody. 14. Roll me a performance check, Bruce,
Okay.
to see how loud your ground strike was. I will say that you didn't go out of your way to attract any attention before this.
A 10.
A 10. Okay, so Victor, you do not hear this. However, there will be like cracked rather stone outside
Dust?
the cave entrance.
Oh, okay, cool. We won't get any dust coming down from above us.
Not from above you, no. This is
Cool.
ground that you're actually standing on. Okay, Bruce Fantana. After doing this several times, you have mastered the art of superior falling.
Yes.
And
Finally.
you even learned to like do the splits while you do it.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, you guys. So, flashing back to the doctors here. Buttercup. You are sort of sitting there when... Victor, how are you applying this mutagen? Can you describe that process for me?
So I have this liquid distilled in. I have it in a syringe for the time, and I actually just basically inject it into her spine.
Into her spine. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It has to affect the brain, so
Okay. Buttercup, there is no denying Victor's expertise. He is extremely good at what he does. And you are he sort of tells you like this is going to sting a bit, and then he like shoves this needle into your back, which you feel for like half a second before it just goes numb and you don't feel it anymore. And Victor, as you're sort of like pushing into this syringe, right, you push it pretty far down. Oh my god, sorry guys. Close the door here. You push it pretty far down, and then you're just like, oh, a little more than I thought, and you like shove the rest of that in there. And Buttercup, as this happens, there's sort of like a pulse as your heartbeat sort of like quickens and begins to pick up a little bit. And your vision's going to get very hazy very quickly, and then you sort of just like you sort of like begin convulsing a little bit. And Victor, it's kind of alarming because you're just like, oh fuck, I fucking killed this person, right? And you're watching as Buttercup kind of like convulses on the floor a little bit, and then Buttercup, you're gonna sort of like stop and go still for a moment. And Victor, Buttercup is laying prone on the ground but has stopped convulsing.
I go ahead and check her vitals.
Checking her vitals, she seems to be just fine. Breathing is steady, heartbeat is steady.
Excellent. I go ahead and try and wake her up.
Okay. You like shake her a little bit, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
And then sort of like reaching over to this pond, you like dip a gloved hand into the water and sort of like splash it on her face a little bit. And Buttercup, you sort of like startle awake. And you kind of blink a couple of times. And Victor, as you're looking at Buttercup's eyes, her pupils have sort of changed, or I'm sorry, not her pupils, but rather her irises have sort of changed to like a yellowy greenish color. And her pupils sort of like tighten up and then spread wide. And Buttercup, suddenly you can see plain as day in this dark cave.
At first, when she wakes up, of course, startled, she wants to slap the shit out of him because he startled her awake. But she restrains herself at the last second. When her vision clears, she looks around and she's like, well, holy shit, this is kind of amazing.
Yeah, no problem, Buttercup. You see all over this cave as if it were broad daylight in the middle of this cave. And Victor, you're sort of like standing over her like, like examining her as she sort of comes to.
Now, Miss Buttercup, how is your vision? What do you see?
First off, I don't have to castrate you, so you should feel very happy right now. Second off, I can see literally everything.
Excellent.
Okay, and Buttercup, you now have 60 feet of dark vision.
Dun dun dun.
How much health do you have, Buttercup? Let me update your token as well.
I think we had a long rest at one point in time, so her.
Consider yourself fully healed since it's the next session.
Yeah, then I have 26 health points.
That's fine. You guys spent a night. That's really more what it is y'all stayed up all night. Or slept all night, rather. So I'm sorry, what's your health?
26?
26. Oh, your health hasn't changed? That can't be right. You took another level in Ranger, correct?
Yeah, that's what I was reading. I didn't think I added anything else though, because I have 1 level rogue and 3 in range.
Every level you gain HP.
Yeah.
You roll I think for Ranger, is it a D10? Or...
I think it's a D10, yeah, plus your con. So go ahead and roll a D10 for us there, Buttercup.
Will do, and it's plus con, correct?
Yeah, plus con.
So plus 1. We'll go ahead and get you guys updated. After Buttercup sort of awakens with her new vision, and Victor, you assess that she's okay. The two of you step outside to find Bruce Fantana. 6. Okay. What's the average for a D10? Is it 6?
I want to say 6, yeah.
Okay. So you get +7, so that'll be math. 6 + 7. 33.
23? 33?
33, yeah. Okay. Is your AC staying the same, Buttercup?
Yeah, her dex hasn't gone up or anything.
Okay. Oh, that's right. She didn't get an ASI. Okay. All right. So Buttercup, who is a Gloomstalker, now has dark vision. And Victor, just so we can get you updated real quick, what's your health and AC? Has that changed any?
My new health is 33. I think we said my AC was like 15, or
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
unless
that. I don't know.
changed. Actually, you're wearing medium armor, so I don't think it would really go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Oh yeah, I did get the dex, the ability score increase on my dex, which is now a 14. So
Okay.
it went up by 1.
Okay. I will make that change. Your current health is what?
33.
33. Got it. Oh, nice. You put both your points in the dex. Okay.
I did. I wanted the extra little boost to the sneakiness.
Yeah, very, very handy. Okay. Now that we are all up to speed, everyone steps outside, and you guys find Bruce Fantana, as well as the cracked slab of stone on the ground, sort of sitting out here. I'll put y'all on the map here. So you guys are wanting to, what, bring the Clifton girl here? Is that correct?
First, I'd like to see if I can actually install like a drain on the roof of the house and see if or cut a hole in the roof of the house and see if water drains
Cut a hole in the roof of the house?
at the apex of the roof so that yeah, basically we can try and see if the water will continue outward.
Okay. So you're gonna climb onto the house and cut a hole in the ceiling? Is that correct?
I mean, really, it only needs to be about like 3 to 4 inches in diameter as far as this little round hole goes. It doesn't need to be very
That's
big.
true. Yeah, no, that's true.
And
Is
it's
that
something that can easily be patched later. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that and see if water drains out of the house.
All right, Victor climbs on the roof. Buttercup and Bruce, what would y'all like to do? Would you like to go get the Clifton girl?
That's what Buttercup is going to do, and she gives herself a second to adjust to the daylight before she starts, that rope climb back up. But she's feeling pretty happy right now, and it's oddly comforting to feel the weight of that necklace around her neck and that sort of hum that it gives off, that little pulse that it gives off.
Okay. Okay. So, Bruce, are you accompanying Buttercup and going inside?
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna take the Clifton girl.
Okay, so Bruce, as you sort of as Buttercup sort of like shoves the door inside because it's like so hard to open, she sort of shifts it inside and you step inside. Buttercup, what you see is like a 3-foot layer of water across the ceiling, right?
Yes.
What Bruce sees is that it is like storming. There are like heavy sea waves which are like splashing across the ceiling. And there's sort of like flashes of lightning every now and then, Bruce. And in that like flash of lightning across the ceiling, you see dark shapes sort of swimming across the ceiling.
Okay.
But Buttercup, you come in, the girl is singing. Victor, you successfully cut a hole in the top of the roof. And as you do, the water just sort of like begins gradually dripping upwards out and towards the sky.
Do I feel that it's slow enough to warrant making more than one hole? Because I would like to drain this water out of there as quickly
Depends
as
on
possible.
the size of the hole that you're cutting in the ceiling. How big a hole?
Again, the first one is about 4 inches in diameter.
4-inch diameter? Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good size hole. So there is like a pole of water, which is like floating upward and essentially dissipating as it gets higher and higher.
Okay, good.
After a while, like there's sort of like a light mist as like salt water, like kind of stinging your eyes, like drips down from the sky. Or drizzles down, rather.
Having done that, I go ahead and make my way back down from the roof and go and help Buttercup and Bree.
Okay. So same thing, Victor. As you step inside the door, roll me an insight check, Victor, as you step back inside.
Even with advantage, I still get a 17.
17. Wow. Okay. So, Victor, as you step inside, you hadn't seen it before, but there is a 3-foot layer of water. And you notice that Bruce Fantana is... He sort of seems like he's staring at it with a very peculiar look on his face. And he sort of like twitches or jerks every now and then as there's like a crash of thunder that only Bruce hears.
Mr. Fantana, are you okay?
I'm always okay. Why do you ask?
You seem to be reacting differently than
I do a lot of things pretty differently. Do you ever do naked yoga?
I do many things naked, Mr. Fantana, none of which are your business.
and probably right about then there's like a flash of lightning and Bruce kind of jumps and says, "What, you don't see that lightning?"
Lightning? Interesting.
Buttercup
Victor,
stops.
there's no lightning. Buttercup, yeah, no lightning here.
Yeah. We just, like, I look over at Bruce kind of perplexed, you know, eyebrow lifted, and then turn back to Cecily to start discussing plans.
Okay, yeah, Cecily has greeted you, Buttercup, and the two of you guys are talking about what to do. We'll get into that in a second. You guys going?
I get a little more concerned about that. So I turn to Bruce. Mr. Fantana, would you mind if I give you a thorough inspection? I believe you may be experiencing something similar to the young...
Bruce, you are still sweating profusely in an unusual way, but you smell good.
Like power.
Smell like power.
Yeah. Smells like tiger shark.
So Bruce has definitely seen the skills, the doctoring skills. He's like a George Clooney in his eyes, and he's just like, "Oh, please, I'm sweating, and there's a lot of lightning."
Yes, Mr. Fantana, I do not personally see lightning. I see a thick layer of water above us, but it is rather concerning what you're witnessing. And if you are perspiring as much as you say you are, I go ahead and like touch Bruce, like get something. I get like a vial and run it along his arm, see if I can collect some of his perspiration, I guess.
So this perspiration, okay.
Bruce is not surprised.
So sort of like scraping a vial along his skin, you gather actually very quickly a nearly full vial, just by like scraping it down his chest.
Yes, this I don't know if I need to tell you, but this is not normal. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the medical tools that I left inside and start actually taking a look at whatever at his what I.
Okay. All
Basically,
right. So you are taking that sample, Buttercup. As you guys enter, Cecily, um, kind of seeing the whole group, kind of again is going to ask you guys like, what should we do? She says like, thank you for coming back. I thank you guys for like showing up last night, and she's going to thank you as well, Bruce, as well as you, Victor. Say like, thank you for coming back last night. If it wasn't for this one here, like I don't know what would have happened, sort of regarding you, Buttercup, who the others saw in action. And she's going to say like, I'm worried about my little girl, but I'm worried that those things will come back again. She says, what should we do?
Bruce Fantana needs answers.
She
Okay,
says,
so
"I've
real
been
quick,
offered-"
out of character, we
Yeah, sure.
had decided that she's going down to the cave, right?
yeah, we're cool with bringing her downstairs. I did just want to try and get the water out of the house as well.
The little girl, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the little girl down to the cave.
Okay. Are y'all doing that right now, or do y'all want to tell her first, rather?
Yeah, Buttercup is of course going to talk to Cecily about it first.
Okay.
So Buttercup looks over at Cecily, and she's like, "Well, I have discussed things with both of the gentlemen in here. They have been a massive help to me, and we cleared out the cave, the distant cave below your house. And we have decided to bring Beatrice there, so that way we can work on getting your house in order."
At
And
this,
then,
Cecily
huh?
sort of turns and she says, "The cave down there. Are you sure? I heard there was a monster that spoke like a person down there."
I can assure you there is no sort of monsters there, and anything that was there, we handled and have personally removed ourselves.
She's going to look at Bruce and Victor and she says, "You handled what was down there?"
Couple of crab things. It's okay. We killed him good.
Some rather large crustaceans, yes. I happened to grab some of their eggs. I intend to do some experiments with them.
Bruce kind of like
Bruce.
flinches when you say that, and he's like, "Oh, gross."
Bruce, you still have that plum-shaped and plum-colored, like, gland, like a little like spitting anus on the end of it.
Bruce is gonna pull it out and look at Victor and say, "Look, I got his heart. I grabbed his heart right out of his chest. Look at this."
Victor, that is not a heart. Buttercup, you know that's not a heart as well. You don't know what that is, but that's not a
I
heart.
pulled it right out of him.
Mr. Fantana, I believe that is a rather different organ. If you would you mind if I take a look?
Sure. And I hand it over to him.
He hands it over to you, Victor. What, you're trying to eyeball this?
I mean, I could identify, I guess, and that would be the best way to figure out what this thing actually does, since we don't know what it does.
You could use a spell, or you could use an investigation roll, whichever you prefer. You want to
I
use
know.
a slot?
I think my investigation is fairly decent, but I think I'll go ahead and use a identify spell to figure out what it is.
Okay, so Victor, you're sort of eyeballing this thing, and you look at it up and down, and Bruce, you're kind of watching as Victor's sort of like gingerly holding this and like eyeballing this. And Victor, you come to the conclusion that it is a pheromone gland from one of these crabs, and it is in heat, rather, or rather in rut. So if you were to squeeze this gland, which is unusually swollen, it is not always in this state, but it is currently swollen and packed with a thick musk, which the gland, when squeezed, will fire it out this anus in a sort of like spraying. anus isn't the right word. What are these? Sphincter. It's got a sphincter on the end. So it will actually fire this like smelly spray out of one end, and you're careful not to squeeze it because you know that this will happen should you do so. But this is a powerful crab pheromone. You don't know why Bruce has this, but he
Miss
gave
Fantano,
this to you
why
and said it
why
was a
did you
part.
grab one of the crustacean's gonads?
No, I thought you were a doctor. It's his heart.
I am a doctor, Mr. Fantana, and that's not his heart.
What is it then?
He just told you it's his balls.
Oh no. And Bruce Fantana just like kind of sets it on the ground.
Technically, it's lady balls.
She doesn't know the difference. She just wanted to see what
Female-
he'd do.
He's still.
I'm almost positive female crustaceans have gonads as well.
They may. This is beyond my expertise, if I'm being honest.
He's just the DM. So Bruce just slowly like takes this little sex gland and just kind of like sets it on the ground and slowly backs away, and then just kind of looks at his palm and says, "Ugh."
You're setting the gland on the ground?
I almost ate that. Oh my god.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the gland.
That almost happened. Oh my god. Yeah, he doesn't want it. He wants no part of that.
Okay.
I'll hold on to it and tuck it
is
away
the
for later.
size and color of like a blue purple plum. It's gangrenous colored.
I'm going to try my best to preserve it for now so that I can reproduce it in the near future.
Okay.
Bruce-
Sure.
Bruce
Go
is-
ahead.
Sorry.
Well, I think.
Matthew, you're okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I think since Buttercup has been at the Clifton house for a while, she has a few things set up. So I think she would have
It's been 2
a
days.
bowl or something large enough to put that into for him.
I imagine I have some kind of container that I could preserve it in on me.
Yeah,
as
Victor has
My profession.
Yeah. He's gotten like a pocket of flasks at any given time.
Bruce is gonna walk up to
Or vials or bottles.
Bruce is gonna walk up to Cecily and like just wipe his hand on her shoulder.
What?
He's like,
Why?
he's like,
Why would you?
gross.
He's like, oh, Mr. Fantana.
At this point in time, Buttercup goes over there and starts swatting at Bruce.
So Bruce is like kind of turning pale. He's grossed out by the thought of not only almost eating this lady balls parts, but his like he just keeps looking at his palm and it's just like and kind of turns a little pale.
So for that matter, Buttercup and Victor, can both of you guys make me a medicine check?
Yep, give me just a second.
Who was that? Eddie? Nice. Okay. And Buttercup? Commando Cup?
Commando cup.
Grab a beer real quick.
She's working on it. She's putting the math together.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Both of you see it, right? Bruce is actually looking particularly pale. Very pale. And Buttercup, you actually notice that small veins at the corner of his temples are only just beginning to show, but they're almost visible. To an untrained eye, they wouldn't see it, but for you and Victor, you guys might. But you're the one that catches the veins. Victor, you just notice he's particularly pale.
She turns to Cecily for a moment. Give me just 1 second. And then walks over to Victor and leans over and whispers what she sees about Bruce into Victor's ear and what she's noticing and the correlations between that and the current floating girl of, what the fuckery above her back.
Okay, Victor, you're up to speed. Are you guys wanting?
Mm.
By the way, the top is still sort of like slowly going down.
I look up and notice that, and I just excellent under my breath, and then back over to Mr. Fantana. It occurs to me that we may need to find the source of this affliction before we do anything else. The fisherman happened to mention the Anne out on the Norstead Point. Perhaps we should go check that out.
Let's go check it out, man. Hey, do you think it'll be dangerous?
I would hold that in highly like.
Good.
And Cecily's like, the Anne? No one's found a way up yet. Are you trying to climb to the top?
Yes. What was the old fisherman? I forgot his name. I'm sorry.
Marcus.
Oh yeah, with the long R.
Old man Marcus, yeah.
So yeah, Mr. Marcus informed us that it seems as though the crew aboard that ship were the first victims of this affliction. We should perhaps investigate there.
Sounds like a
I
plan.
never would have thought it was true, but I suppose that he wasn't fibbing after all. What with those crazy stories? We thought they were just tall sailor tales.
One would think so, but he trails off and looks over at Beatrice floating above her bed and continues. Just, we seem to have evidence contra.
It would seem so. So you guys are trying to go out to Norstead Point
Let's do it.
over there?
Yes.
All right.
Buttercup actually looks over at the both guys first, and she's like, "Gentlemen, please don't forget. Right now, our priority is to get Beatrice down to the cave, so that way we can get her somewhere safe."
Did you guys
Where-
talk to Cecily about? I told her you were wanting to take her to the cave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cecily, I would like you to go to Chastain's. I would like you to rent a room and not worry about this place just yet. You have dark circles under your eyes. You're about to drop from exhaustion. Go feed yourself, go wash yourself, go to bed.
She sort of sighs and she says, I'd like to keep in mind there is rain coming up from the ground the whole time. It's not like a heavy rain, but it's like a slow, gentle rain, but a constant rain. And she says they won't let me stay in the inn, and nobody's willing to take me in. She says they have offered to give me a furnished stable stall, but given that the Odos and the Tims disappeared from what we thought was a sickness, but we now know is this, and she sort of gestures over to her daughter here. She says nobody wants to risk the chance that they could get caught up in it or risk their families.
Which is why we need to, unfortunately, isolate young Beatrice, and from there we should keep you separate as well. I go ahead and check her for any of the symptoms that Bruce seems to be exhibiting.
Bruce seems to be exhibiting? Okay, go ahead and make me a medicine check.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Hello.
Nice.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Victor, as you are examining Cecily, right? It occurs to you.
One second, he dropped out of chat for a second because his phone is acting up.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Started off a little more RP heavy than anticipated. That's okay. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. I wasn't expecting you guys to go to Norstead Point.
It's in the name.
It is in the name, yeah. Yeah.
It's a giveaway.
Should have known.
His stuff is acting up super bad right now. Should I turn push to talk off for my mic and then that way he can talk and I can pick it up?
Well, we've been doing this for a little over an hour 15. Why don't we take a quick break?
Yeah, y'all want to take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
You can sort this out.
We'll put on some really aggressive drum and bass.
Yeah. I'll definitely let Eddie know. That way we can all like go to the bathroom and everything. Like.
Sounds good. Okay. We'll be right back with some more Nordstead Point, brought to you by nerdjamtv.com. Okay, we should be good. You hear me?
I'm glad you guys are enjoying yourselves.
So it's like totally making fun of Red Dead Redemption and shit, but they're adding like new vehicles in, these jet seeds, so like horses with Oh, okay. No, I understand. I understand where you're it's very consistent throughout. Like you have a very good way of telling the story. But these are both very different stories, like this.
Improv is something I sort of dread because I feel yeah, so basically I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I really like. I hope it's not
Not at all.
this has been so fun so far. Like really, like us playing, all of us playing together.
Oh, I was just taking down all the things to say like we'll be right back and the drum and bass. But
Gotcha.
we are currently live. Welcome back, everyone. We're excited to be back, and we're gonna go to Nordstead Point.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The last thing that had happened, or basically what's occurred this session so far, is Victor has given Buttercup a mutagen that has allowed her to have dark vision, which is basically due to her Gloomstalker class feature. And Bruce, you have mastered the art of landing effectively. And you guys came to the Clifton house. You have decided to deck out the distant cave, decided to bring Beatrice to the distant cave. Victor, you cut a little hole in the ceiling of the Clifton house, and a stream of water is now like pouring towards the sky and like cascading into the air. And then once coming inside, Bruce is seeing like stormy ocean waves with like figures sort of silhouetted swimming through the water as lightning occasionally strikes. Whereas Victor and Buttercup, the two of you are experiencing the normal, or quote unquote normal, rain coming up out of the ground as Beatrice is singing. In the last scene where we left off, Victor, you are examining Cecily Clifton to see if she shares similar symptoms to Beatrice. And as you are examining Cecily, you take note that she actually does not share any of the symptoms. Aside from sheer exhaustion, she seems to be perfectly healthy. But sort of comparing Beatrice and Cecily, it comes to mind that Bruce, more than anyone else, seems to be demonstrating similar symptoms to Beatrice. Although you had noted... Ooh, actually, were you the one to hear this? I think it was you, actually. I believe you had asked Cecily how long Beatrice had been sick like this, and it had taken 2 weeks. 2 weeks for her to get to this point. Bruce Fantana seems to be nearing Beatrice's state, but much faster.
Okay. So his condition is accelerated as opposed to Beatrice, so it could be days as opposed to 2.
Yes, that is exactly the conclusion you come to.
Okay. So, yes, we'll need to... So having noted this, I'm not going to really expound upon that, but I will definitely say that we need to investigate all avenues about this in particular.
Okay. Cecily was telling Buttercup that she was not really welcome anywhere else. She was considering staying in the stables for safety. Which is kind of unpleasant, but they were going to furnish the stables for her, bring a bed in there, and like obviously give her like a clean place in the stables. But no one wants to take her in.
I will invite her to stay with us, but I would advise that Cecily stay away from Beatrice in case a repeat of the previous night happens. So yeah, I'm interacting. I'm telling her that, you know, we should keep you two separate. Just simply because if something similar happens to what happened last night, I would not like you to be caught up in.
And she shakes her head and she says, "No, I quite frankly, I don't want to be around if one of those things shows up again."
So yes, we will keep your daughter with us and we will keep her safe. However, you most likely need to stay in the stables. I will do my best to also come by and make the accommodations more pleasant for you.
And she sort of bows her head gratefully and she says, "Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate it." Okay, so are you guys moving Beatrice?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move Beatrice, and then I do want to. I need to go ask Marcus a question.
Old man Marcus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who's moving Beatrice?
I will move her, but as Buttercup walks by Victor again, she softly whispers, "How long ago? How many hours has it been since he fought that shark?" And just trails off as she starts getting Beatrice ready to take her down.
Okay. All right. So as Buttercup is carrying Beatrice out the door, right? You are sort of like, you've got her in your arms, sort of holding her like across your arms here. I'll sort of do this. There you go. Buttercup's carrying Beatrice out the door. As you leave through the door, the remaining layer of water across the ceiling suddenly drops and like slaps against you guys as it splashes, and the rain coming up from the ground sort of ceases.
Interesting. So basically, all the water has just splat down and then out the door, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily drain, it just drops from the ceiling and the rain ceases. And Buttercup, as you're walking outside with Beatrice, rain is continuously like seeping up from the ground just towards the sky. And some of the townspeople, let me see. Wow, 7 townspeople witness this. And they sort of gawk at Buttercup, you know, who's wearing all of these like sort of potions and got these like little like sort of herbs kind of hanging off of her belt, is sort of carrying this Clifton girl who is still singing, and her hair is still sort of like floating like gently. It's kind of bobbing in the air as Buttercup walks, you know, as if floating in water and being tugged along. But they're gonna sort of like whisper and mutter amongst themselves.
At this point, as Buttercup is very gently carrying Beatrice and leading her down, she's, very calmly talking to Beatrice like, "It is okay. You don't need to sing right now. You are safe. You can rest." Like, just trying to show that she's just trying to take care of the girl.
Does Bruce recognize the song?
The song that was being sung? Oh, here's an important detail that I forgot. Sorry about this.
I like where this is going.
As the water from the ceiling like falls and like splashes down against your shoulder, you hear a sort of like Bruce, 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 and it sort of just like vanishes.
Hey.
Word. So I'm sorry, what was the question again? Do you recognize the singing?
Yeah.
The singing that Beatrice is singing? No, you do not.
Okay.
And in fact, you do, all of you take note that it has this like strange sort of like echoing, as if the echoes are sort of coming in and out as she's singing. And there's this weird echo as if it's kind of bouncing off all the walls, but there may not necessarily be walls near you guys.
Bruce is gonna kind of look at Victor and say, "This kid's pretty weird, dude."
Buttercup, is just more concerned about it drawing attention from, like crustacean things and fish people. So in the back of her head, she's just like quietly like, "Will you please just stop singing? Will you just relax? It's okay." Like, while she is muttering, I guess you can say gentle nothings to the child, not even knowing if the child was mentally present or not.
I want to, okay, so yeah, hearing you say that, I want to go ahead and clarify that Beatrice's eyes are like glazed over. They're like pearly white. She is hovering in the air. She is not mentally there. She's not singing like she's consciously singing. Her body is hovering limp. Her mouth is like hanging agape. Like her mouth is open and this singing is coming from her throat. But she
Okay.
is not mentally there. She is not consciously there. In fact, you guys would say that she is unconscious, but her eyes are open and unblinking, and it doesn't seem to be a bother. But
All right, then.
Buttercup, at this point, you would know that like trying to speak to this girl is not going to work. She is not conscious enough for that.
Oh yeah, it wasn't necessarily for the point like yeah, in some ways it was to, if the girl was more mentally present as a comfort thing, but for the townspeople to hear her, we're gonna get you better and everything like that.
Make me a performance check, Buttercup, to like say this out loud in a noticeable and persuasive way. Interesting. This is almost sort of like battling. Wow. Fuck. Interesting. Okay. So those 7 people that witnessed all of this happening, Buttercup, also hear you sort of comforting this girl. And as you're walking out, there's almost this like odd surreal moment as you're walking out of this house carrying this like pale singing girl in your arms, her hair sort of like floating in the air, and these people are watching you sort of like emerge from this like dark house with this rain sort of beginning to emerge out of the ground, and it's this like witchy unreal moment, and they hear you sort of like providing comfort. And this is the first moment when these 7 people watching this start to see you, Buttercup, as like, who is this person? Like, who is this woman who's been reportedly helping the Cliftons, though no one's really seen that much of her, But we all heard the commotion last night.
Yeah.
So with that performance check, I'm going to say this is going to give you some you are becoming a person of interest here in town, like Bruce and Victor. It's a very surreal moment. And in fact, Bruce and Victor are going to walk out sort of in your wake, which only sort of adds to like this mythical moment. Okay. Anyways, you guys make it here to this cave, right? The rain is continuing to come up from the ground. Is your intention just to leave this girl in the cave and head over to Norstead Point? Because that's okay if you are just trying to dump her here. Are y'all trying to bring Cecily here as well?
No, we want to keep Cecily separate because if those things come back, honestly, we'd rather just have, like, as shitty as it sounds, I would rather have just the girl taken than.
Okay, no sweat. So Cecily will go ahead stay in the furnished stable.
So Bruce is going to look at Victor and he's going to say, "Hey, do you remember those crab things talking?"
Talking, Mr. Fantana?
Yeah, remember that chick told us that there was like a talking monster down here?
Oh, yes, I do believe something of that nature. I believe they mentioned something of a third monster, yes.
Oh shit. Maybe we shouldn't just leave this child here. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor, but that might be a bad idea. I don't know.
Mr. Fantana, no one else will care for this child. And frankly, we should keep her away from the rest of the towns. If we go to Norstead Point and discover the cause of whatever's happening, then hopefully we can fix.
So that's when Bruce looks over at Buttercup and he says, "I'll take the child. Let's go to Nordstead Point." And he like stretches out his hands, offering to carry the sweet child so that she doesn't die in the cave by the third monster.
You're bringing her to Norstead Point.
I'm down.
She gets a shocked look on her face, and she's already heading into the darker parts of the cave where she can see perfectly fine, but she's not sure if he can see her. But she has this incredulous look on her face as she turns and looks at him. You want to take this child to the place
She won't
where
be
all
heavy.
of this has begun.
She won't be heavy.
Crazy
It's
sailor
fine.
was talking about.
Mr. Fantana, Buttercup, I need to show you something. Please join me farther in the cave.
Certainly, and let's see if we have some rope, because if you're going to have the child, you're not going to carry her, because next thing you know, you're going to flap your arms and she's just going to fly free, so we're going to strap her to your back.
Sounds good to me. It'll be training.
So yes, we're gonna go farther into the cave, and I make sure no one is following.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I heard this right. Are you guys strapping Cecily Clifton to Bruce Fantana's back, Yoda style?
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's
Yes, that's exactly what you heard.
not Cecily.
Okay. Just checking.
The kid is apparently coming with us, but no.
Oh,
so
no,
we're in the cave.
Fucking
No one has followed us.
She's gonna turn into a monster on my back, isn't she? Oh
it's
no!
just hilarious that this is a thing now. Okay.
Yeah, he's carrying her.
All right.
All right. So as we enter the cave,
Guys, fasten her to Bruce's back. Across Bruce's back, I should say. All right.
I mentioned I have something to show you. Miss Buttercup, I have already told you about my particular inclinations as far as medicine goes. I look at Bruce and expand a little bit. I improve upon the human form in various ways. I've already successfully given Miss Buttercup something of that nature, and I need to show you, both of you, something that may put your minds at ease.
Okay.
It's very vague and a little ominous.
What's up here?
So I'm going to take a few steps back away from them, and I am going to go ahead and shift into Braxis in front of both.
Okay. So, Bruce and Buttercup, both of you guys are like, huh, okay, what are you talking about, Victor? And at this point, Victor, how do you shift? Is it like a will thing? Do you ingest something? Do you inject something?
At this point, I no longer need the injections.
Is it like a werewolf transformation?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I basically, I go ahead and I strip off my shirt and start to convulse, and just muscles ripple and expand, and fur starts sprouting out of his body. His coarse gray fur.
You guys hear a crackling of his bones, sort of shifting and lengthening.
Bruce,
In each crack, Buttercup takes a little bit of a step back, and a little bit more.
Bruce puts up his dukes and says, "Oh."
But as I finish the transformation, as a large, hulking form with fur and extremely long arms and limbs, and just quietly looks at them.
Buttercup and Bruce. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna speak. Go ahead. Do your thing first, and I'll speak.
I was just going to say, Buttercup and Bruce, this is extremely alarming to the two of you, and is one of the most witchcraft things you guys have ever seen. This person just shapeshifted into a beast. Go ahead, Braxis. As you continue, you finish your shapeshifting.
Braxis straightens, looks at them, both calmly, makes no move towards either of them, and just speaks. We are Braxis. We protect the humans.
It's pretty metal, dude.
Okay, first of all, that was awesome. But second off, as she's backing away and he's finishing his transformation, she kind of like she pulled her longbow out and like notched an arrow, but has it facing the ground. Like she's not taking aim. It's more of a nervous tick of hers. And
Okay.
when she hears the way he was talking, she remembers where she had heard that from, and she's like, "You were the one from the cave." And puts everything back in its place, like longbow back where it needs to go, arrow back in her quiver, all that stuff.
Oh, wait. You were the monster.
Bruce, Bruce, you okay? Yeah, you've heard the rumors, but you were not actually there for this thing that happened. But yeah, this is apparently the monster that talks like a man that you heard about in the tavern.
Okay.
Okay, so yes, this is very strange. How do you guys feel about watching a guy shapeshift into a beast in front of you?
I mean, it is just another day for Bruce Fantana. He's like, I mean, he's just, obviously he's a little cautious. He's like got his dukes put up. He might have to run away with this crazy witch child. But he, you know, it's Victor. You know, they're buddies. And it's been a long time since Bruce Fantana had a buddy. So he's cool with all this. He's like, optimistically cautious.
You fought crab people with this guy. He helped you kill a shark.
Indeed.
Yourself.
At this point, Buttercup, she takes a deep breath and she starts muttering, well, he did show me how this like spike shit came out of his arm, and that convinced me to have him shove a needle in my spine. So, this is cool, I guess.
So with that, Bruce is gonna like unlatch this child on his back and just set her down and say, "Okay, I guess we're good here."
She just hovers in the air.
Okay, I guess we're good. She's not, but we're good.
I go ahead and
Fuck,
shift
that's weird.
back into my human form so that I can interact with people.
He just looks over at Buttercup and he's like, "This shit's fucking weird, right?"
Oh, yup, it sure is. But, welcome to our life day. What day is it?
It's Thursday.
It's always Thursday.
Yeah, so he puts it down and he's like, "You guys want to go to Nordstead Point?"
As Braxis finishes shrinking back and turning into Victor calmly puts his clothes back on, and then yes, we should definitely go to Nordstead Point.
Did Bruce see Braxis? Well, he definitely saw Braxis naked. Did he see Victor naked?
I still wear pants, kind of like the Hulk.
So no. The answer is no. Okay.
No, you didn't see my dingling.
Just wondering. That's an RP gold mine. I don't know. I'm just asking. Did I see his dick? I just want to know.
All right.
Sorry.
So here's the thing. You guys, I assume, grab a boat. Is that what you're trying to do? Get a boat and head out to Nordstead Point?
Bruce wants to
Yes,
swim.
but while the boys are talking, like, Buttercup makes sure that she keeps the rope on Beatrice, finds the highest, like the point where the ceiling in the cave is the highest, and then ties a rope around some like rocks and everything like that, so she is in place.
Okay,
And
so
she
you
should
fasten
be there, but not going.
You fasten Beatrice Clifton in place. Noted.
I'm picturing like Spider-Man style, like webbing, just like ropes lashing her in place, and like 9 different points across.
I imagine so. Especially, it would not surprise me if Buttercup, with everything that she's done so far, is just like a not expert / survival pro.
Well, my survival thing, I think, is Yeah, it's a +5.
So here's the thing: if you guys are trying to go out to Norstead Point, you're gonna want to get one of the fishermen's boats. So I assume you guys go to the fisherman's shack.
Or market.
For the sake of expediency, you guys will obtain that fishing boat and go out to Norstead Point here.
Cool.
So, unfortunately, I have not prepared scenes for Norstead Point because I didn't expect you guys to go out there this early, but I will say that on your boat going out to Norstead Point, the group of you will all note as you get. Oh shit!
So hold on. So what if before we get the boat, Bruce is like, hey, do you remember that other place we could go to that that guy told us about? Maybe we should go there.
Finnigan's bucket.
Yeah.
Bucket?
How do you guys feel about the bucket?
I mean, we very well could investigate that as well. I would like to get this taken care of before someone's condition accelerates.
All right. So we're going to the so we're going to the bucket, right?
If you guys would like, you're more than welcome to go up to Norstead Point. Is that what you're trying to do?
I don't want to derail Eddie. I think that was Eddie's idea. We can.
It's okay.
Well,
if
it
you go
was,
there. It
but
is
I
okay
also
if you
don't want to have don't want to have Hunter unprepared for this if he doesn't.
Let's go to the
No,
place.
Feel
no, it's
comfortable.
okay. You are welcome to go there.
Let's go to the place with scenes.
It's all right. You know what? I will just say this. You guys do go out to Norstead Point, and then afterwards are just like, okay, let's go to Finnigan's Bucket. But I will say that when the three of you travel out by boat to Norstead Point, it is a very unusual rock formation. It towers very high up. It is basically a large spire of stone. At the very top is a boat, but none of you can see a way up to that boat. And honestly, the drop from the top down to the water looks just deadly. Even if you were to hit the water, you would hit the water very hard.
What if you're Bruce Fantana?
If you're Bruce Fantana, maybe, but there's a lot of sharp rocks around here, and it does not surprise you that when Old Man Marcus was talking about one of the sailors jumping off the rocks and breaking open on the stones, looking at these wicked-looking rocks, it is highly plausible.
How high would I have to jump in order to like successfully jump up there?
You are looking at about a 250-foot ascent.
So I can do 26. That's way different.
You like somebody would have to like climb their way up this wall in order to get up this wall.
See, my
And
athletics.
it would not be easy.
Yeah, my athletics. Despite the fact that I'm Bruce Fantana, my athletics are not good.
Yeah, it's too bad
Mine
you
won't be
guys
good till
don't
later.
have climbing gear.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
climbing gear would be something that would help you get up this wall.
That's true.
Victor,
Something
you
for
take
later.
note of that.
Absolutely. I can make climbing gear, but I can't make climbing gear for everybody right now.
Yeah, you couldn't do it instantly, but you could produce climbing gear for 3 people easily enough. It also doesn't surprise you, Victor, that nobody was able to find a way up to this, given the, like, not to be condescending, but, like, simplicity of this town.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean they're all fishermen and like local craftsfolk. There's not really a lot of education in this as town, and I don't like. There's no disdain for that. It's just like they just.
Yeah. It's not a surprise, but you would be able to find a way up, but you would need to craft climbing gear. All right. So you guys are headed to Finnigan's Bucket after this.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Now, I will point out that at Chastain's, they told you this was a very dangerous place. And they said nobody's really been able to do anything about Finnigan's Bucket so far. Now, Buttercup, you are on a different level now. Let me tweak this lighting for you. Buttercup can see everything now. I was not expecting that, but there you are. Bruce and Victor, however, the two of you cannot see very far without lighting.
Okay.
As
Mr.
Buttercup
Fantana, would you
went
carry a
through the
torch?
dark-
Yeah, I think Bruce would light a torch. He's just as adept with his legs as he is with that one left hand he would be using for this.
um,
All right, give me just a second. It's having trouble loading the Roll20 thing, so I'm going to close down my browser and open it back up.
Okay.
Yeah, dynamic light can be system heavy. If that is the case, let me know. I can fix that by just turning off dynamic lighting.
I will say that as we enter the bucket and we're alone again, I'm gonna go ahead and shift back into practice and take the lead.
I will say that as you guys all sort of row your boat up to this like rock formation west of town known as Finnigan's Bucket, there is a very clear sort of open crevice which deepens into a cave. And y'all sort of like ride your boat up in there, sort of step into the shallow water and descend into the rocks. Victor, Bruce, and Buttercup, as you step inside, and Bruce, you light up a torch, all of you see on the ground a sort of like long, thin, shed serpent skin.
Bruce licks it.
Because that's not foreboding at all. I'm still loading the.
I will go ahead and shift into Braxis now that they know what I can do.
Okay, so damn, so you're sticking with Braxis. All right, Braxis for the rest of this encounter. There you go.
It's Braxis for the rest of the day because I haven't taken a rest. I can switch armor forms between breasts if I use the same armor.
You can switch armor forms during a rest.
Yes, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Bruce, is your
So-
AC 18 or 17 still?
18.
Oof.
I think mine's up to 19 now.
No, we got this tanky monk over here. Oh, because the dex change? So you're at 19 AC now?
Yeah, I should be at 19 now on
You're
Braxis.
wearing heavy armor, though. No dex bonus.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
AKA Braxis form.
It's still having trouble letting me see the map.
Okay. That's okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to mix it up just a little bit, you guys. Instead of dynamic lighting, we will just turn that off. And I will reveal to you the entirety of the map. Just be careful progressing through it.
Cool.
Okay? Make sure there's nothing visible before I do this. And I will reveal part of what's visible in the map as you approach it. There's still stuff you'll see, but there's kind of nothing I can do about that. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Go ahead. Let me turn this off. Okay, go ahead and reload the page, everybody. Oh, shit. All right, everyone in?
Yes.
I'm still waiting. There we go. It's loading now.
Yeah,
Man,
this should be a
this-
little bit gentler on your computers.
I mean, it's a nice map, by the way.
Thank you. Again, all of these were made in Dungeon Draft using art from various sources.
Oh, we need a sponsorship.
You right, dog.
Sponsor.
Okay. So, is everyone in at this point?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're all in. You guys watch Victor's has another like convulsing like skin growing into hair sort of transformation into this Braxis beast that sort of like stands before you guys. There is a shed serpent skin on the ground, and this cave is sort of like revealed before you guys. Bruce and Braxis, you guys actually are not able to see that much. Buttercup, you're able to see a good deal. Bruce and Braxis, the two of you can see about 30 feet out.
I'm zoomed in very hard on the map.
Just so you know, because I noticed, Matt, that you were using the buttons to zoom in and out every time.
Mhm.
If you have a mouse wheel, holding Alt and scrolling your mouse wheel is the way to go.
Oh, thank you. That's very
Easy
good.
peasy.
Yeah, that's
Freaking
super
for
good.
breezy.
Roll 20 lessons on nerdjamtv.com.
Dude, honestly, you should. You should totally do like a roll 20 course.
Taking 20 beat me to it. It's a channel on YouTube.
Damn.
Okay, well,
But I will say that the Roll20 tutorial is actually very good. Also, right-click on the map if you guys want to drag the map around easy.
Oh, wow. You're a guru.
Spend thousands of
So-
hours in Roll20, no joke. Okay, so what would y'all like to do?
Buttercup's taking a look around. She can see pretty far out, and she notices the water, but seeing the snake skin,
Mhm.
she takes out her knife and cuts off a very large portion of it and kind of gently rolls it up and tucks it away, because what sort of animal is this? You know, maybe something can be found out by the skin of it.
Okay.
Could Bruce examine the
Add
skin?
that to your inventory. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, Bruce examines the skin and like kind of looks at it and then just like sticks out his tongue, kind of touches the snake skin to it, sniffs it a little bit.
Okay. I will say it has a sort of like musky but very subtle smell. You almost don't smell it, but it kind of has like a dusty smell almost. And you said you tasted it as well.
Yes.
It tastes like salty cardboard. It's very sort of like dry and flat. But it has like a thin saltiness to it.
It's pretty obviously snake skin to everyone in the room, right?
It is a snake skin. I don't know what you were expecting.
No. Bruce looks at his friends and he's like, I think there's a snake here. What do you guys think?
Buttercup immediately, like, takes a sharp breath in and has her hands fly to her face. She's like, "Oh no! I had no clue."
Yeah, it looks like a snake. I know you.
We will hunt it.
Okay. Would y'all like to progress further into this cave?
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay, so from where Buttercup is there anything in particular that stands out to her, since she can see 60 feet out, or is it just the rock formations and?
Not yet, Buttercup. Since we don't have dynamic lighting, Buttercup, you guys are all going to have to do me a favor and keep in mind that you can only see Bruce and Braxis. You guys can see maybe 30 feet out, 15 feet of bright light emanating from Bruce himself, and then
Okay.
15 further and dim. So y'all can see maybe this far out right now.
Okay.
Buttercup, however, your vision essentially ends where the rocks in your line of sight are. And then anywhere you can't see just sort of fades into like dim darkness, but you can actually see pretty damn far.
And Bruce is aware that Buttercup got that mutation, right?
Bruce is not yet aware of that.
Oh, okay.
Well, Bruce, roll me an insight to notice the change in Buttercup's eyes.
Nope.
Nope.
It's dark.
Nope. But Buttercup does seem to like have no problem seeing her way around this cave.
Okay.
Strangely enough.
So I guess let's just move forward. Let's explore the cave.
Buttercup goes ahead and moves like kind of towards this area right here, and she sees the water, so she's like bending down and like kind of like putting her hands in the water to see the temperature of it, and like bringing it up to her nose to see if it smells like salty water or something.
Should we be sneaking around?
It is salty water. I don't know. Would you guys like to sneak around? You certainly don't have to.
I feel like it might be
I can
a
do
good
some
idea.
sneaking around.
I feel like sneaking would be good.
Okay.
Well, I can't right now, honestly. I'm not in the right form.
Oh, that's fine.
No, you can. You're still proficient. You haven't lost that proficiency. In fact,
Oh,
me
that's
make
true. Okay.
let me make sure your character sheet is updated with that as well. But yeah, if you like, you are absolutely still welcome to roll that.
Oof. Actually, no, my character sheet isn't updated for that because I don't have proficiency yet.
8 plus. What's your dex right now?
My dex is
My
20.
Your dex is
My dex would be +2, and then I would also get proficiency, which is included in my stealth.
Wow. Okay. Fucking Buttercup over here. Buttercup is not what she appears to be.
Oh, can I roll a perception check to see and check for any other like marks or tracks on the ground?
Forgot my +5, but that's gonna be a 12 from me, by the way.
Okay. Cool. So we have a 17, an 8, and a 12. What was that, Buttercup?
Can I roll perception to see if there's any sort of tracks on the ground or
Absolutely.
anything that...
That's
Okay,
actually
so I'm gonna
gonna
go
be
ahead and roll
survival. Roll survival if you're looking for tracks specifically. And you guys are absolutely welcome to proceed as well. You are still here. Only 30 feet from the entrance.
All right, so it's a D20 plus my survival, and do I have a proficient? And I use my proficiency bonus, right?
If you're proficient, yes, ma'am.
Got it. Okay, give me just a second.
So this space between these rocks is big enough for us to go through, right? It's like not like-
really. Not really. You're gonna have to cross through like either this water or like maybe this over here. Okay. Yeah, Buttercup. There are plenty of subtle tracks in the dust moving about. Many of them move into this water, especially near the water's edge here. But you find a lot of three-toed tracks and these long, dragging tracks.
Braxis and Bruce, we're all still kind of close together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She's very softly gonna speak, and hey, look at this, guys. We've got some of these odd tracks here, and this long one looks like what the serpent's movement is, and it's going towards the water. Be careful.
Let's get him.
So you guys are still 30 feet from the entrance. Feel free to progress further in.
Like just using the tokens?
Yeah, just using the tokens. Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool.
just move around as you like.
We can't move through that space, Bruce. That one's too small.
All right.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we have to cross the water here.
this space. So yeah, you can absolutely enter that area. You just have to do it through the shallow water if
Oh.
you so choose.
Okay. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
let's do that.
Okay, so as you guys sort of like and roll me a perception check.
18.
18. Wow, that's pretty good.
Bruce never does that.
I failed.
Bruce don't play.
Wait. That's weird. Why does it look like that on my perception?
7. What's your wisdom?
Or you mean the 2 rolls?
Pardon me. That looks pretty normal.
Because my perception, I am proficient in it, and it's +5.
And don't worry about it. Victor, what did you get?
I got a 14, so that means she'd have a 9. An extra
Okay.
+2 from her proficiency.
All right. You guys are going to hear the flapping of wings as a couple large torso-sized creatures sort of like appear at you out of the darkness, sort of sweeping over around this corner. And I need everyone to roll me initiative
Nice.
as they come like flapping around this corner.
28.
Wow.
28. Oh my god, Bruce. All right, let's do it. They're gonna roll. Oh my god, a nat 1 and a 13. Okay. All right, Bruce, you are up first as you hear like the flapping in the distance, like, and then out of the darkness you see a couple of like winged figures just sort of like emerge and kind of see the two of you.
Are
Before
they
your quick reflexes kick in.
are they on the ground?
They are flying through the air. Each of them is about torso sized, and they sort of come around this corner here.
Okay. Do you think does Bruce think that he could possibly jump in the air and grab one of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. It's within your movement to do so, and you could certainly make an athletics check to grapple one of them.
Okay. Yeah, Bruce is gonna try that.
Okay, so which one are you trying to grapple?
The one on the left, the one on the bottom.
The one on the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So dropping into a squat, you burst off of the ground and attempt to snatch this bat out of the air. It is going to go ahead and roll athletics. Oh my word. Can you roll for me?
Athletics?
Yeah. You have to beat a 6.
I did. Haha.
Okay. All right. So you guys watch as Bruce Fantana just sort of like leaps instantly through the air and snatches something just as it comes into view. And Bruce, you are sort of like holding this bat. It is now grappled and grounded.
Nice. Do I get to do anything else? That's probably the extent of my turn, correct?
That is, unless you have a bonus action, yeah. Can you use any bonus actions?
Not without an
That'd
initial
be like
attack.
using an item.
No, I think I'm good. I'm just gonna look at my friends and say, "Get him."
Get him. Okay, go for it.
And I guess in order to do that, Bruce had to drop his torch,
Oh shit.
so it is currently on the ground.
Okay.
It's so good.
Okay.
I mean, they're still in sight, so that's not that.
Yeah.
All right. So this bat, in return, is going to sort of like flap against you, and then it is going to like sort of swing its tail
Wow.
and fire 2 nasty-looking barbs out of its tail. One is at you, and one is at Braxis. And they are 2 ranged attacks.
Oh, can I like deflect
Well, that-
missiles?
If you like, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I grab
Okay.
it. Fuck that barb.
Okay, so this bat is like flapping in the air, right? And as it's doing so, it sort of like hisses at you, and it's going to swing this this like whiplash like tail, which flings these two like long, like maybe like middle finger size like needles at you guys. And Bruce, your hand like snaps at it like right in front of your chest and like catches this barb out of the air. Braxis, the other one is going to sink into your flesh, dealing 4 damage.
Okay.
I want to throw it at the other one. I can do that as a bonus action, right?
Go for it. Yeah, go ahead and throw it.
Is that a martial arts roll?
What's the rule on?
I feel like it becomes a monk weapon, but I'm not 100% on that. I can look it up real quick.
I think you make the same attack that it is.
Okay.
So roll a d20 and yeah, just make a martial arts roll for accuracy.
Okay.
And the damage will be a 1d4 plus your dex.
Wow.
Which I guess is 5. Wow, holy shit. Okay, so you throw it back. So this tail like whips these 2 barbs at you. One of them like sinks into Braxis's fur, and the other one you like whoosh, like catch out of the air, and then turning, like just unfazed, just throw the other one like a dart, and it just sort of like snaps into the side of this other bat, and it sort of crashes into the wall here, like startled, and sort of like turns in surprise.
You picked the wrong day to fuck with Bruce Fantana.
Dun dun dun.
All right, Buttercup, you're up next.
Immediately, as she watches Bruce do all of this, she can see the bat clearly. The bats clearly. She sees the one that he startled, and she's gonna take aim and just fire with her longbow.
Yeah, you have no problem seeing these guys. Go ahead and fire.
Remember to include that extra Gloomstalker 1d6.
Oh, right. So I do. Okay, hold on. I do.
Is it if they haven't acted yet, or do you have to surprise?
No, it's her first. It's her first turn of combat.
Wow, fuck, that is brutal.
She
It's
gets
an
an extra
extra-
attack, and she gets to roll an extra damage, extra attack, and 1d6 on both. I think.
Oof. I think it's a D8 for Gloomstalkers, isn't it? It's more than a D6. Am I wrong?
Let me check my character sheet. I sent it to you. So do I fired twice?
I guess you do. Wow, what on earth?
And then let me see what my character sheet says.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
forget to roll
1d8.
your
It's 1d8.
Don't forget to roll your sneak attack damage on top of this. Buttercup.
Yeah.
I
And
forgot
she
how to
gets-
do that.
Her
It's just-
ultra-powered first turn in combat as a Gloomstalker.
So that's going to be an extra 1d6 of damage from for each attack for your sneak attacks, and then so 2d6 plus 2d8.
It's once per turn, so just hit your sneak attack button once.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, so we're looking at 19 damage so far.
And haven't even rolled the d8 yet.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I roll 1d8.
All right. So Bruce, you throw this you throw this bar back into this bat, and it sort of like catches this bat against the wall, and it kind of crashes into the wall here. And as it does so, an arrow suddenly like flies out of the side and sort of like pins this bat against the wall. And it kind of like instantly like shudders and dies. Which kind of only leaves this second opponent here for you for that second shot there. So
Okay.
so the bat that Bruce is holding on to is going to receive this additional 10 damage, which is actually also going to kill this bat. And so Bruce, you like throw this barb, right, having like caught it against you, and you throw it into the other bat, which crashes into the wall. And almost simultaneously, 2 arrows just like pin these bats against the stone. This one actually gets pinned. The other one that you're holding sort of like jerks and dies suddenly.
Nice.
Well done. So both of these are actually dead now.
Cool.
Wow.
Good work, guys.
Well done. Holy shit. Buttercup.
Braxis just impassively watches and pulls that spine out of his shoulder, out of his body before moving.
That's
That
when
would-
Buttercup taps Braxis real quick. Do you want me to hold up that onto that in my belt for the dart?
Oh,
Hey.
Braxis passes it the dart to Buttercup and then continues.
Can
What was that, Bruce?
Bruce rip the wings off the bat?
Yeah. You want to?
Yeah, I do.
All right, you're trying to physically pull the wings off the bat.
Yeah.
As you take your time doing this, roll me an athletics check to rip the wings off his bat.
Ooh.
Wow. It's pretty gnarly to watch, but as Bruce sort of plants a foot into kind of the neck and shoulder of this thing, the two of you watch as he tugs at the base of this wing, which stretches to full extension, and then as he's putting his weight against it, the skin and the muscle starts to tear, revealing this sort of pinkish flesh beneath, which kind of rips into this white sinew, and with a final tug, Bruce separates the wing from the bat, and he does the same with the next wing. Bruce, go ahead and add 2. What are these called?
Bat wings?
2 bone spitter bat wings
Cool.
to your inventory.
Okay. I guess we'll keep exploring, right, guys?
Absolutely. Savannah had to run to the potty real quick, so she'll be right back.
That's fine. Bruce, go ahead and make a note. Add 2 crudely torn bone spitter bat wings.
Crudely torn. Okay.
Make a note that they're crudely torn.
As I'm walking forward, Braxis is walking forward, he grabs the torch and passes it to.
I accept.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that.
Am I free to
Go
explore?
ahead and add that bone spitter barb as well.
Okay.
Not Bruce. I believe Buttercup took
Okay.
the barb from Braxis's fur.
Yep.
Okay. All of you note as you're actually roll me perception as you're moving through this cave.
Oh no.
Oof.
Okay. Buttercup, you alone note that this cave is also made of coral. Entirely. In fact, it seems to be a tunnel progressing through coral.
Looking at this, she kind of narrows her eyes, but kind of keeps her mouth closed for the time being because her mind automatically assumes that it is definitely leading somewhere. And what if it's leading them to the place where they're trying to get?
Could be. The same light gray dust is sort of everywhere. Okay, Bruce and Braxis, roll me perception checks. Actually, Braxis, roll me 2 perception checks.
Got a 10.
And don't move, Braxis. I'm sorry, Braxis, 1 perception check and 1 dexterity save.
Oh.
Braxis. Bruce, you don't hear anything.
Oh, of course.
Braxis.
Good roll.
That's the deck save.
Braxis, as you approach, Just before you walk into it, you see a long, sticky, barely visible tendril hanging from the ceiling. And you sort of pause before you walk into it and take a step back, and looking up at the ceiling, there is a large worm sort of just hanging there with a long, sticky tendril kind of hanging out of its mouth, waiting to catch passerby.
So I'm going to back up a little bit, and then I'm going to poison.
Okay, you're just gonna attack it.
Hell yeah, I am.
Okay.
Let's do it.
As you attack it, it just like violently like wiggles in place. It can't really do anything to fight back. Are you just going to continue poisoning it until it's dead?
Pretty much, yeah.
But before you do it again, Bruce is gonna put out a hand and say, "Hey, wait, let me talk to it."
Before, yeah, he goes to like do that, and then he gets the hand out, like, and then stops. Yeah.
So
Go right ahead, Bruce.
Bruce is gonna go up to it and say, "Hey, hanging thing, what are you doing? Where do we go in here? What's going on?"
It's like lashing, gaping mouth, just sort of like. That's all you get.
I think you're being pretty rude right now. Excuse me. Trying to have a conversation with you.
It just continues like.
Can Buttercup go ahead and just fire at it?
Yeah. So you guys just attack it until it's dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It cannot fight back. You attack it until it's dead.
Okay.
How
My
many times?
God, Buttercup, you are a fucking monster.
Jesus, right?
What the fuck?
All right. So now that that's
Bruce,
dead, does it like
Roll
fall?
me a dexterity save,
I
Bruce.
knew it. Okay. I knew it. I think it's a +7, so that's something to work with.
Wow.
It's
That was a yard.
Hey!
Nice.
All right, Bruce.
Oh no.
Okay. Let me see. Bruce. A long, sticky, barely visible tendril becomes caught on your clothing and lifts you off the ground. Looking up, you see the mouth of a worm as it begins working and drawing you upward on this long, like, spit line.
Ew, gross.
And Bruce is actually lifted off the ground.
Can I try to burn it with my torch?
As you near the top, yes. You will reach the mouth in one round.
Okay. Yikes.
Gonna go ahead and poison spray
You are
that.
currently grappled, Bruce.
Okay. Can I attack it?
Yeah, you'll be within melee range in one round.
Oh, I see. I can't attack the tendril itself.
So you
Oh,
should probably
you
let
can,
us
yeah,
know
you
that
can
you've been
attack it
caught.
later.
I mean, out of.
What was that?
Buttercup is gonna go ahead and fire another shot at the thing
Yeah, we're
so
gonna
she can see it.
We're gonna kill that. We probably need to roll for something, right?
All right, everyone roll me what you're doing real quick to see if you can kill it before the mouth reaches Bruce. Wow, what the fuck? What the fuck? What is wrong with you guys?
Is that good?
Okay. DC rolled a 13. What's the save? 14. Okay. Bruce, you're like you're about 4 feet up off the ground before the mouth just like stops working and sort of like gargles and just dumps a bunch of yellowy fluid which runs down the spit line as it's poisoned and regurgitates.
Oh shit.
Sort of like runs down onto you as you're still caught in there. But the others are able to free you at this point.
So I guess I'm still stuck to it, right?
At this point, yes.
Okay. I guess I just lay on the ground. next to it, stuck to it, like, oh, excuse me, guys. A little hand here.
You want to cut Bruce down?
Yeah, let's go get. Well, I don't have the means to cut anything.
All right. At this noise, I want Buttercup and Braxis. No, go ahead, everybody. Roll me a perception check. Bruce, do it at disadvantage because you're distracted with being cut down.
12.
Ooh, okay. 14, 15. Okay, not bad. All right. So here's what happens. Oh, actually, let me see. Let me see if you guys hear this. Ooh, no, nobody hears this. As suddenly, these large blue-green jaws snap out at Buttercup from behind.
Oh, shit.
Oof.
Nice, low roll.
And Buttercup, in her usual commando form, just sort of like ducks and dodges to the side just as these jaws come and like snapping out of the darkness, revealing a sea serpent here beside you. Can everyone roll me initiative?
Nice.
That's like the lowest initiative I've seen Bruce have the entire plan we've been playing.
He rolled a 2. He's got a +10.
All right.
It's pretty good.
He's very sticky right now.
Okay, Sea Serpent is up first. He's going to make one more snap at Buttercup here. Except it's not from hiding, he's just doing it from advantage. Buttercup, you are going to take 4 damage here. As it lands its sneak attack on you as well. Or rather, just from advantage. As these jaws these needle-like jaws sort of jump in and bite down on your armor, and you feel the tips of its teeth sort of like pierce through the armor that you're wearing, but only just so, planting little pinpricks like along your flesh.
Okay, awesome. Does she have a reaction to that, or do I need to wait till my turn?
Do you have any reactions?
I think you have to wait till your turn.
I think I have to wait till my turn, but she's gonna stab the shit out of it.
Okay, Braxis, you're up next. Seeing this large, let me see if I can show you guys what this thing looks like there.
Whoa. That's cool.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, in fact, would y'all like
His
to
name
see
is Fluffy.
the other enemies that you've encountered so far up close?
Sure.
Can y'all see these worms here?
Cool. Yeah, I can.
That's the worm. Let me show you guys these bats. These bats
Looks like a like from Zelda.
You're right.
It does.
Looks like something from Tremors.
And these are the bats.
It's a grabble.
Much smaller token there.
Nice.
But yes, you guys are currently engaged with this very large sea serpent. I would say that it's about as long as Buttercup is tall.
So I'm going to, since it's my turn, charge at it and use my bonus action for my temporary hit points. So my fur bristles, and I gain 4 temporary hit points. And I'm gonna punch the fuck out of that thing.
Do it.
Punch it, dude. Oof. Wow. Okay. A whopping 9 damage. Good fucking roll. Oh, wow. I forgot that aggroes it too. Okay. All right. So as Braxis steps up with like a roar, he goes in and just like bashes the sea serpent in and sort of like takes his hit and shakes its head a little bit. And sort of like goes back for Braxis. Next up is, are you doing anything else, Braxis, with your turn?
No, I've used my bonus action, my movement, and my attack, so I'm...
Okay, awesome. Next up is Buttercup. Buttercup, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna stab the shit out of the fucker, and then, you know, hopefully he'll be dead, and we can go rescue.
Stab it twice,
Go rescue who? I'm sorry.
because it's the first turn of combat.
Oh yeah, true. Is it really just the
Wow.
first turn?
This is her first turn of combat.
She-
Yeah, so she gets her Gloomstalker bonus again.
She got a crit.
It's her first turn. She doesn't have to have surprise or anything. That's amazing.
No, yeah, just on her first turn of combat.
Wow. Fuck, Buttercup. Jesus Christ.
What about the first round of combat?
And you're using a dagger as well. So
Yes, sir.
Buttercup's subclass gets a huge damage bonus on the very first turn of combat.
She
That's
gets
like
an extra turn and an extra D8 if that hits. Or an extra attack and an extra D8 if it hits.
Oh, really?
Okay, so that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your sneak attack damage and your extra D8.
She also rolled a crit on her first attack, by the way.
Yeah, and so we're looking at a full 4 damage plus 6, which makes 10 damage, plus 5 sneak attack, which is 15. Oh my god, like 21 damage. Alright, so with a whopping, like, Buttercup, describe to me what your crit looks like with this dagger. As Braxis is engaged with this sea serpent here, which here, in
So
case
she
you can see it.
flies, as fast as she can over there and throws her dagger like in her hand and tries to slam it down as hard as she can in the eyeball and twists really hard before she pulls it out again and goes back into the throat and just starts trying to yank back.
Okay, so slamming that dagger into its eyeball, it like rears back its head and shakes violently, sort of like spewing like this purplish blue blood out of its eye, and it like shrieks violently, which sort of like fills the cave with like this like loud shriek. And it is now blinded in one eye.
Huzzah!
Okay. Roll me a perception check, everyone.
Oh, no.
Give him just a second.
Okay.
Sad bandit.
Buttercup, you are the only one to hear it, as usual. But you hear a sort of rustling coming from northwest in the cave, in response to the noise generated by this scream as this thing is blinded.
Alright, guys. I heard something.
All right.
I think we whatever was in here off, just so you know. Gotta finish this work.
All right, Bruce Fantana. Are there two of you here?
2 Bruce Fantanas?
I see 2 Bruce Fantanas in the initiative here.
I only see 1.
I only see one.
Oh, weird. Maybe I'm just tripping out. Let me reload. What would you like to do, Bruce?
Okay, so... Does it... So whenever I do my open fist, my, where I can potentially shoot it like 15 feet,
Yeah.
does... I don't recall reading any size, like, restrictions.
It's large or smaller, I think, which is pretty generous.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, that's a lot of things.
Would I be able to use it here?
Absolutely, dude. You can use it anytime you use, what is it?
Okay.
Flurry of blows?
Yeah, so here's what Bruce Fantana's gonna do. He's gonna run towards the serpent and punch it 1 time as a normal attack. Use a bonus action to, he's gonna use Flurry of Blows, expend a key point. He's gonna use a bonus action to punch it, which I believe gives him that 15 feet, and he's gonna try to uppercut it into the air.
Okay.
Wait for it to kind of fall down and hit him again with his 3rd bonus action and see if he can launch it 15 feet.
Juggle combo.
Wow. Okay. All right, go ahead and
Playing
roll
Mortal
me-
Kombat over here.
So for all of that, it's just three martial arts rolls, right?
Now keep in mind, do you guys know what the flanking bonus is in 5e? This might be a good
Advantage?
I don't.
Okay, so Bruce, let me explain how this works. In 5e, there is a rule called flanking, and this is a great time to exercise this and teach you new players. Braxis currently has this creature engaged with him because that's Braxis's whole thing. Flanking is essentially when your token is like perpendicular and it is engaged with like another enemy.
Okay.
It doesn't even have to be your ally, just an enemy of your enemy. And when you are like, say, when you position yourself like here, or Buttercup up there, or behind it, or something like this, that gives you advantage on all of your attacks.
Nice. Okay, well that's cool. Let's definitely do that.
So I would recommend using your free movement, which you have plenty of here, to do so.
Okay. Definitely gonna do that, and I guess the way we should roll it is I roll the normal attack, the first bonus, and then do the save. It'd be a strength save. And,
Okay.
And then I guess if that succeeds, do the other bonus and then roll again.
All right, let me check these stats real quick. Okay. First strength save is... Ooh, wow. First strength save is actually a 9. And you said he needs to make 2?
So
Ooh,
he would need to
I
make one
don't
after
know.
both
Okay.
bonus attacks. So,
So that first attack actually is not going to hit.
oh shit. Okay. So roll it
Yeah,
again.
as you go to strike this thing, and your fist sort of like glances off its like slippery hide, and you feel it. It feels like just muscle, as scales and salamanders kind of do. It doesn't really have like a soft, like fat feel to it.
Shit. Okay. So first bonus.
Okay,
Wow.
that will hit. That will absolutely hit.
Okay. And then I guess roll the save now.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, a 14. What's your save?
So my strength's a +3. Hold on. Shit.
Or your DC? What's your DC for that?
What would my DC be? So the actual text is it must make a strength saving throw. If it fails, you can push it up to 15 feet away from you. I don't know what monks would use.
It.
Would it be
I
wisdom?
wanna-
It's wisdom.
I guess since you're using Dex instead of Strength, it would be 8 plus proficiency plus your Dex.
Oh.
Is that a 15 for you? Do you have 20 Dex?
I have 20 dex.
Oh my god. Okay. So your first attack glances, Bruce, but your second attack makes contact. Which direction are you attempting to pummel this serpent?
Right up in the sky.
Straight upwards?
Yes.
15 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bruce, so Braxis and Buttercup, as you guys are fighting this serpent, which is currently engaged in Bruce, Bruce is gonna have one of those like moments where there's like a glint in his eye, and he's going to like drop into stance and uppercut this sea serpent, which like its whole mass sort of like bends into this like upside down V shape as it sort of like gags as Bruce like first makes his impact, and then as Bruce follows his punch up, it's going to rocket this serpent skyward 15 feet, which actually provokes attacks of opportunity from both Braxis and
Nice.
Buttercup and Bruce.
Holy shit.
I need all 3 of you to make attacks of opportunity if you choose to do so.
Yes.
Sure, you can. Shit, man. Someone's been playing too much Street Fighter.
Okay.
Just punches his serpent in the sky.
Wow.
Sure, you can into the Tatsumaki, man. Classic Ryu combo.
Wow. Okay. I was not expecting that. With that, the the 3 of you sort of taking your moment of opportunity as Bruce throws it off, like off guard. It begins launching skyward. Braxis, you go in to like stab with your like muscled clawed fingers, just fingers like straight out right, just to like thrust it into this thing. Buttercup, you're like releasing an arrow, and Bruce, you're going in for like a follow-up elbow to like the middle of its ribs, and all three of you sort of just like collide at the same time into this serpent, who just like spits out like a gush of blood and is instantly just like crushed in three different directions, and kind of its ribcage like collapses inward as all three of you guys hit it from three different sides. By the way, all of those attacks were at advantage. I don't know if you guys
Yes.
crits, but it honestly doesn't matter.
All right, there you go.
This serpent is absolutely crushed out of its existence. However, you guys hear a bunch of noise. Can you all damn it, that's the wrong layer. Can you all roll initiative for the next round?
Wow, 229s.
Very well
And a
done.
5.
Roll off. We have the same.
Roll again?
We have the same decks.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do. They do both have 20 deck.
We'll see what the when I sort it in descending order, we'll see what RNG gives you guys.
Okay, that works for me.
It'll prioritize one of you in front of the other. Bruce is up first.
Okay.
Okay. There are two bats who sort of like fly in at this point, prepared to like investigate the source of this noise and, you know, feed off the pickings of whatever this serpent was trying to do, not expecting you guys to wreck that serpent like that. Bruce, you're up first as you hear these bats sort of fly in the way.
Are they visible?
Is one of you carrying the torch? I thought Braxis was.
I
I
passed
thought
it to
it was
Bruce.
Bruce.
Bruce, I think, still has
Did
the
you pass
horse.
it to Bruce? Then in that case, Bruce, yes, you can absolutely see them. They're dim, but you can hear them approaching, and they have your full attention now that you've killed that serpent.
They're midair, correct?
Yes.
Can I try to jump on top of one?
I would say they're about the size of your torso. You can try and jump on top of one. It will not be able to carry you. Your weight will probably ground it. Is that what you're aiming to do?
Yeah, definitely. I guess before I do that, could I use my object interaction to like hand the torch over to Braxis? Or would it be too dim when I try it out?
Yeah, no, that's an atmospheric. Yeah, I'll
I
let
can
you
do
use
that.
atmospheric
Okay.
to do that. So you pass your torch over to Braxis.
Yeah.
Bruce, make me an acrobatics check contested against its dexterity save to jump onto it.
Acrobatics.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Okay.
Did it crit?
It crit
Oh no.
failed. So it rolled a
Oh,
natural
cool.
1. What did you roll?
It rolled a 1. Crit failed.
You said acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
Okay, sorry. My character sheet like froze, but I have a 7. 10.
That's enough. Okay. So you guys watch as Bruce like sort of still in combat mode, just like turns his bandanaed forehead like towards the darkness, and then squats again into like another action pose before leaping into the dark. And just as these bats sort of come into view, you watch as he sort of like tangles over the back of one and sort of plants his 2 feet like in a crouch, like onto the shoulders of this bat, which instantly crushes it into this water here.
Let's say, so yeah, if he's holding it underwater, does that mean he can drown the bat basically?
Currently, I will consider this bat grappled.
Okay. Am I able to just punch it a couple times?
For this round. I will say that it was your action to jump onto this bat. Do you want to use a bonus action for anything?
No, that works for me.
Okay. This bat is effectively grounded, though. I will say, for the sake of this bat is currently prone. Buttercup, you're up second.
All right, so what she's going to do, she sees the other bat because even though he could dimly see the first bat, she can clearly see the second bat. So she's immediately going to go with her longbow and shoot the second bat before it comes up behind her.
Okay, go for it. Go ahead and roll me those shots.
And it's 2 of that plus a sneak attack plus a 1d8, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I am not accustomed to Gloomstalkers. I've never played with a Gloomstalker before, but I
So if combat didn't stop, then this is still the same one, so she wouldn't get the extra attack or the extra.
Oh, that's true. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So you're back to like regular strikes. So go ahead and just fire your bow.
Just one time?
Yeah, just one time since we're still in the same combat.
Nice.
Jesus. Okay.
Unfortunately, like you don't get your extra attack and your extra D8.
So as it's like sort of like flapping and Bruce, this arrow just sort of like over your shoulder and just drops this bat out of the air as it comes crashing onto the ground. Momentum, you know, still flying through the air and sort of like lands in a heap at the edge of the water. All right. Well, that takes care of that. This bone spitter bat, who is currently like crushed by you, Bruce, is going to sort of like turn over like frantically and attempt to sting you with its barbed tail.
Okay.
Does an
Ooh,
8
isn't that a tie?
What was that?
I don't think it. Yeah. Okay. So Bruce, this tail is like swinging at you. Think of it like a stingray tail that's like lashing up at you, and you dodge the first one, and as the second one's coming up, you just like and like grab it like right before it strikes you, and it just doesn't quite manage to stab you, and it is going to like thrash violently in the water, still prone. It will attempt. No, actually, it can't because it's prone. Okay, that's going to be it for its turn. You're up next, Bruce.
Okay. I'm gonna punch it twice.
Wait, Braxton,
Wait, isn't
right?
it my turn?
Oh yeah.
Did
Yep.
Bruce already re-roll?
I never got my turn this
Eddie never
round.
had a turn.
I go on a 5.
I'm sorry, that's right. Bruce went first. Okay, then yes, Braxis, you were last up. Go ahead and go.
I'ma punch it.
All right, go ahead and do so at advantage because it is prone. That's fine.
Take that 21.
9 damage. Okay, so you go ahead and strike it, dealing that 9 damage. It looks severely beaten, not accustomed to
And
these
I'm-
up-close balls.
Gonna use that my bonus action for the temporary HP again, so that it's still met topped off.
Okay, go ahead, make a note.
So yeah, I got 4
All right.
temporary.
Everybody go ahead and re-roll me initiative if you haven't done so already. Wow, crit. I'm gonna go ahead and say that bone spitter bat goes first.
Oof.
All right, the bone spitter bat going first. It is going to once again try and strike Bruce.
At disadvantage
Nice.
Oh, that's right, at disadvantage.
because I punched it.
That's right, dude. Okay, so the first one does not hit. The second one actually does not hit either. So once again, like with Braxis just like on top of it, just pounding this thing into the shallow water here, and Bruce like standing there holding it down. It is sort of powerless to strike Bruce here. Bruce, you're actually up next if you want to do anything about this like lashing tail swinging at you.
Could I try to rip it off its body?
Attack roll.
Sure, go ahead and roll me martial arts to grab this thing and rip it off its body. It's actually going to be at advantage because you currently have it prone.
11.
11, that actually is not going to do it. So you grab its tail and you tug at it, but you're not able to rip it off its body. and it sort of like wriggles free of your grasp.
Got a quick question.
Yeah.
So while he has the tail, even though he tries to pull it back, does it like pull? Like, does it cause the head of the bone spitter bat to kind of lift to try to see what's going on?
The head and the wings are currently splashing in and out of this like shallow water, which is really only a few inches deep. Well, no, I want to say it's like a couple feet deep, maybe, but it's not super shallow. And these bats are huge; they're like half a person sized. So it's splashing in and out of the water.
All right, so Buttercup is going to carefully aim and just fire off another shot.
Okay, go for it.
Is that an advantage? Because is it still prone or now? Did it get?
Yeah, it is. Ooh, actually, if you're trying, so here's the thing, Buttercup, about 5th edition. If you're trying to shoot at something that's prone, it's actually harder to do it. So you get disadvantage if you're shooting a prone target. If you're in melee range, however, you get advantage.
I don't think I'm in melee range though.
Okay.
What is considered melee range?
Within 5 feet. And that would be a dagger attack for you.
So basically, just like right next to me. You could...
Yeah, just walk over and use your dagger, and you'll get advantage instead of disadvantage. Plus, you'll get plus because you have advantage.
All right, so I'll go ahead and do that instead of firing off an arrow. So I use the dagger.
Okay. All right.
Roll again. Roll one more.
Oof.
Okay.
All right. Plus actually, you know what? With it being as damaged as it already is from Braxis's punch, with Bruce holding it down and Braxis sort of just pounding on the face of this bat, just like a wild animal, Buttercup, you leap in with your dagger and with a couple deft slices, finish off this bat, slicing at its throat. And that is going to put it down.
Nice.
And once again, the cave goes quiet, save for the occasional dripping of water sort of working its way through.
At this point in time, Buttercup goes around and collects what arrows of hers she keeps.
Okay, roll me an investigation check.
All right, give me just 1 second to pull up my character sheet.
I'm gonna try to grab the torch from Braxis.
You can go ahead and pass it back. I'm gonna go back and try and explore those cave branches where there were worms at the entrance.
Cave branches where there were worms? You're going back to
Yeah,
the
like
worms?
those little alcoves. I want to see if there's anything.
Okay, what would you like
What
to
did
do?
you want me to roll again?
I would like to check and see if there's anything in these alcoves, like right over here, past where we killed the worm. Like this one, and then the one farther south. I want to check that out.
Roll me investigation twice, Braxis. Buttercup, can you roll me investigation as well? Also, give me like a minute and a half. I'll be right back.
Eddie, I'm gonna see if I can help you when he comes back before you roll. Nope.
Gonna need help on that other south branch there, where you almost got 8.
Right.
This combat is going very well, by the way.
We've barely taken any hits, right?
I took 4, but like I already have temporary hit points, so like it's fine.
We just murder shit.
Yeah. Dude, like Buttercup over there super nuking everything first.
I can't help it. I'm awesome.
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
Okay, sorry about that. Does Buttercup's abilities require surprise the way an assassin requires surprise, or do they just work?
No, it just works on her first turn. She gets an extra 10 movement speed on her first turn, and then the extra attack in 1d8.
God, dude, that Gloomstalker Rogue combo is such a heavy first hit.
That's crazy.
Okay. All right.
I feel like her attitude is basically just like panic, kill it before it gets you. Like in the very first turn.
Yes.
Pretty much. Buttercup, roll me a D. Let's see. You expired 3 arrows, correct?
Actually, I've been keeping tabs of it. So let me see.
And Braxis and Bruce, the two of you were doing what? Remind me.
Exploring these little cave branches past where the worms were.
Okay, and you rolled.
The first one I rolled 20, the second one I rolled 12. However, Bruce said he wants to help
Look for stuff.
Yeah,
look for stuff over here, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to help him to give him advantage.
Okay.
I have expired 6 arrows.
Okay, roll me a D4 plus 1. Okay, let's see. Okay, excellent. You get 3 arrows back. And meanwhile, roll me.
So I rolled 2 20s on my searches if I have advantage.
Roll me a D8.
Me?
Or, I'm sorry, a D10.
Me?
No, I'm sorry. You got your arrows back, Buttercup. I'm asking Victor, or Braxis rather, to roll me a D10.
Okay, I was just clarifying because I was like, wait a minute, there was no distinction there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I got a 4.
A 4. Okay. You see a funnel-shaped mushroom shining brightly enough in the dark to read by.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
But
I'm definitely gonna pick this.
As you reach for it, you realize that it has these sort of like thick, wide, what are they called? Like the vents, on the bottom of it. Go ahead and roll me an herbalism check to safely extract this. It occurs to you with your expertise that this may be a poisonous herb.
There we go. 23.
23. Wow. Okay. All right. It looks like you are able to successfully gather, what's this called? Ghost fungus. And it is a whole fungus. It is ingested, but it induces poison damage and it stuns for the duration that it is ingested. It is a mushroom, so keep in mind how you could get that to be ingested by somebody.
Absolutely. So yeah, basically he's going to use claw tips to pick these mushrooms so that he doesn't actually touch.
Okay, Bruce, Buttercup, how would y'all like to proceed from here?
I think I want to go search this alcove down here. There's like a little spot. Right here.
Okay, that was one of the spots that you guys checked.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that one we just checked.
So we've already
Here,
checked
but
those,
you'll
okay.
find the ghost mushroom down here.
Word. Okay. Keep looking around.
Buttercup wants to go this way, and from where she's at, she can see eggs, so she just kind of.
Yes, these are large, leathery blue eggs. They are probably about 9 inches tall a piece. They are very large eggs, and they are.
How many are there?
There are about 6 eggs. They're half buried in sand.
Braxis is going to approach.
You're gonna do a what? I'm sorry.
He said Braxis is going to try to approach and pick up one of the eggs.
Yes, I will approach and try and pick up one of the eggs.
Okay. There's nothing difficult about it. You walk right up and reach a large furry hand down and pick up one of these eggs. It's soft and malleable. It's not like a chicken egg. It's like sort of like a leathery pouch.
Snake eggs are a lot softer. They're not like a rigid shell.
Yeah, so think snake eggs, but made of leather. Like you're not gonna pierce this unless you're really trying to. But it's kind of heavy. It's like maybe 5 pounds.
So I want to keep one and then destroy the rest.
Okay.
What if it's a pet?
Does anybody else want to do anything about these eggs?
Buttercup is kind of like half wondering if she should take one just so she could have a pet, but she decides.
That's mostly why I took one. I'm like experimentation / pet.
No, they're straight experimentation for you. They're not pets.
Yeah.
All right. So you go ahead and add 1 sea serpent egg to your inventory and consider the rest destroyed. As you are you stomping on them, I guess?
Punching them with my big fists, it doesn't really matter.
God. Okay, sure. You just crush them.
Just actually attacking them, make sure they actually break.
Okay, so you crush them into the dirt until they are essentially no more. But you do have that 1 egg. All right, so continuing on, you guys are moving north of here. Is that correct?
Yes. Buttercup is actually gonna go back past where the first like was, because she remembered seeing some sort of foliage growing out of one spot at the corner, and she wants to take a look at it and possibly harvest some.
Okay, you go ahead and take a sample. Are you trying to get a large sample?
No, I'm just gonna sample.
Okay, go ahead and just take a sample.
Uh,
Buttercup, roll me a perception check as you're heading that way, because you can see pretty well in this dark thanks to Victor's mutation. Where are you?
I'm kind of derp-dering.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
Too busy harvesting plant.
All right, yeah, so you get your sample. What would y'all like to do from here? Moving over? So
Yes.
from about here, you guys can see fairly well at this point in the torchlight that there is what seems to be an old camp here in this spot.
Can we go ahead and check it out?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have Buttercup sneak from this area over here over to the other side and see what's going on.
Okay, you're approaching from the north, Buttercup. Go ahead and roll me a dexterity save, Buttercup. As a long, sticky tendril dangles hardly visibly in front of you.
And that is just flat dex, right?
It's dex plus proficiency.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you have Dex as a save that you're proficient in.
Is she a first level rogue or a first level ranger?
First level rogue, 3 levels of range.
Okay. I see you. I see that min-maxing action there.
I did suggest you take rogue first so that you get more skills.
No, rogue 1 is the way to go for any class.
Yeah, rogue 1 and three ranger.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, with that dexterity save, and especially with your new eyesight, Buttercup, you are able to easily identify a ceiling worm hanging from up top before you walk into that long string of spit.
She walks around said string of spit because she doesn't want to deal with a worm right now. They're icky.
You got it. Okay.
Do you point it out to us so I can go ahead and kill it?
Yeah, when she gets over to the other side, she's like, "Hey, so there's a worm over there."
Just.
All right.
Go
So you
ahead.
guys kill it till it dies.
Yes, I'm just gonna poison spray it till it dies.
Okay, you kill it till it dies. All right. So, Bruce, Buttercup, and Braxis, examining this camp here, you see an extinguished campfire, two very basic looking cots, and a couple bags, one of which is opened and sort of ruined, the other is still sealed.
I would like to inspect the sealed bag.
Same.
Okay. Opening up the sealed bag, you guys find that there is some fishing supplies. There are a couple days worth of rations. Looks like it was meant for maybe 2 people. It's really not a whole lot. Let me see what else. And a small pair of wooden carved dice.
Buttercup kind of shrugs at that and then goes and starts rifling through the inside of the cots.
Okay.
Have we basically that's gonna count as our investigation checks of the camp, basically.
Is that what you guys are doing right now? You guys are all just going through this stuff?
I do want to look around and see if there's any trace of who the people that were here or anything, how old this campfire is. That's
It looks like it was just a couple days. Or I'm sorry, not a couple days. Maybe a few weeks. It's clear that these rocks were formed in a circle, and that there's charred wood here, but it looks like it's been quite a while. But as you guys are all investigating this camp, there is a surge in the water, and then a sudden splash as a large mob of dog-sized leeches suddenly begins surging out of the water towards you here. Can everybody roll me initiative, please? Oh.
Jesus, Matthew. The lowest you can roll is 11.
Okay, let's do this. 2 of these giant leeches are up.
Wait, did it get mine? Because mine just says welcome to roll 20.
I have an 18 for you. Is that correct?
I don't know.
It looks like yes, it looks like you just rolled this because it was while I was rolling for these leeches.
Okay, yeah, it was. It just accidentally scrolled me all the way to the top.
All right. So this leech is going to run over to Bruce Fantana here and attempt to leap upon him. Wow. So Bruce, this leech, as it pounces upon you, it's about the size of a dog, and its weight is going to sort of knock you back. But its circular, slurping mouth sort of plants these rows of teeth as it sort of attaches itself to your glistening pecs. Its mouth goes from about your pecs to your belly button.
Holy shit.
Okay. And you are going to take 4 damage as well.
Hey, Matthew. I can't hear you if you're talking.
I can't hear you either, Matthew.
Oh God.
There you are. Hey.
Yeah, sorry. I've been saying things. I was like, why aren't you guys talking to me? I don't know.
Yeah,
what's
sorry.
going on.
No, so this leech has basically pounced upon you.
Okay.
take that damage. For some reason, I cannot get this leech to do what I want it to do. Anyways, so the other leech, meanwhile, is going to go over to Buttercup here and attempt to do the same thing. And it is going to... Wow. Buttercup, you are also going to take 4 damage as this leech is now attached to you as well.
Got it.
And you are up next. You have a leech which is currently attached to you, and there are more coming.
Remember, you get your 2 attacks this turn, and your D8.
That's right. Yay! She's gonna stab the fuck out of the motherfucker. Twice.
Get him. Get him. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, and then I roll for
I think this is the D8.
just a D8.
I don't think you have advantage, so I don't know if you get your sneak attack damage on that. I guess.
All right, it is looking severely wounded, but it is not quite dead yet.
19 in 1 turn. Wow.
Okay, yep.
Damn it.
Never mind, it's definitely dead. It plants on you for 1 turn before Buttercup's
Not
eyes
even like
glaze
6
over.
seconds. Because this all happens in the same 6-second time period, technically. So, like, it's on her for a couple seconds before she just, like, stabs the shit out of it.
Yeah, Buttercup's eyes glaze over as she, like, phases back into the way she was during the dark times. Just let go of all that rage and anger on this leash. And it dies in this round. Anything else you're trying to do this turn? That's definitely going to kill it. Can you do anything else? Are you able to?
I think that's like your whole turn.
Bruce
I'm
Fantana
gonna try to scuttle away.
I'm sorry?
She's gonna try to scuttle away, like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you, fuck it. No.
Okay, you're scooching away.
Yes, like a crab.
How far? Actually, if you're moving basically anywhere else, you're going to prompt 2 attacks of opportunity. Are you trying to do that?
No, then she's gonna just let the leech lay on.
Okay. Alright. This leech, while dead, is still attached to your torso. Okay. Next up is the leech in front of Braxis. This one is going to leap forward and attempt to do the same thing to you.
Nope.
No pass, and you are just going to sort of swat it aside. The leech behind it is going to come up and attempt to do the same thing once again to Bruce Fantana, flanking him from the side.
Fuck.
The flanking.
Bruce, you now have another leech attached to like your back. You have 2 leeches, one on front and one on back, but you are up next.
Okay. I'm gonna punch the one that's like on my stomach. I'm gonna punch him twice.
Okay,
Not gonna
go
use a
ahead
key
and
point
do
this time.
so at advantage because it would be very difficult to miss this.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Excellent.
So that's the
9
first
damage.
one.
can you open palm, like, shove it off of you?
Wow.
Conceivably.
Yeah, you could if you used flurry of blows. These 2 strikes are definitely going to like do the trick, Bruce, as your first hand like sort of bashes in and you feel its scales as this leech sort of has like this tough, like hard skin, you know, sort of like crack. And your second hand just sort of like bashes into this meat and you feel it just like give beneath your knuckles. It wriggles and shock and then stops.
And then where's the other one?
The other one's attached to your back, assuming you were attacking the one in front of you.
So I feel like I would probably be prone if I did this, but could I, as my movement, just fall on my back and do a little damage?
Yes. Yeah, we'll go ahead and say you can do a D4 in damage. Go ahead and roll me a D4.
Hold on. So what if Bruce Fantana? How can I see the ceiling?
I will say you can see certain parts of the ceiling. Yes.
He wants to jump and bounce off the ceiling.
You're not terribly wrong. So, how far up would you say it is? Like,
are you looking for anything in particular, or just the ceiling?
Just the height itself.
I would say it ranges between 12 feet and probably about 24.
Okay. So I think what Bruce wants to do is expend a key point and use Step of the Wind and jump high up in the air, do a couple of like flips, and then fall on his back and try to do a little extra damage.
Okay. Go ahead and
Does it say 15 feet of falling damage on the leech?
roll me an acrobatics check
Okay.
as your attack roll.
It's the old +7.
So Bruce Fantana basically a leech attached to each side. Okay, that'll do the trick. All right, roll me a D8, just a flat D8. So Bruce is going to punch into this leech, which is attached to his chest, and his hand sort of like gushes into the worm, which like lashes violently before going limp, and like sort of addressing the leech on his back, suddenly turns and leaps skyward, crushing. Or actually, rather, you said you wanted to do 2 flips.
Yeah, 2 flips for sure.
Okay.
Like I'm using Step of the Wind so that I jump like 20 something feet in the air, 2 flips, and then fall straight down, picking up the momentum with those extra flips and just fall on that motherfucker.
Nice.
Iron Lotus back down style, just like drops. And with a D6 is going to drop his full weight into this worm, sort of jarring it and forcing it to bend at like a very awkward angle for it, dealing 6 damage. Very nicely done. Braxis, I'm sorry, this leech is up next. Interesting. So this one is actually going to come up and attempt to bite onto Buttercup as well. Does the 17 connect with you, Buttercup?
Yes,
I believe. All right, then you are going to take 3 damage as another leech just like its hungry mouth just sort of like lashes onto you and clamps around your waist, opposite of where the spear had passed through you.
And she grunts at this and just her head flops back. She's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Bruce, you and this worm are now prone, and this giant leech is still attached to your torso.
Nice. It's still on me.
It's still on you, yeah. Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna crush this one leech that missed me right in front of me.
Alright. Go ahead and roll that attack. 20. Wow. Okay. That is definitely going to connect. It is going to take a whopping hit, but that does not quite kill it. But you certainly bash it, and it sort of like crashes against like the rock near the water over here, kind of splashing as it hits the shore there.
Definitely going to like make sure my fur's gonna bristle again, and like I'm going to top off my little
Okay. All
so
right.
I have my temporary hit point.
Okay, everyone roll me initiative if you haven't done so. Wow. Okay. So from the top, Buttercup, you are up first. You have a leech attached to you at the moment.
She is going to stab it with her dagger.
Okay, go ahead and do so.
And I used twice
At
if I'm at
advantage,
advantage, right?
Yeah. Okay, wow. Okay, that is a whopping amount of damage. Don't even worry about your sneak attack. That's going to go ahead and kill it when combined with your sneak attack. How do you kill this leech that's attached to your torso here? Or your waist, rather?
Since she has the knife in her hand, so she's kind of like peeking over to see where exactly she can hit it at. So she just slams the knife down as hard as she can inside or wherever it is on this leech and just drags it as far down as she can.
Okay, that is going to do the trick. It is, however, still attached to you.
Trophies. They're going to be trophies. Maybe.
It's just like
Pull them off.
Okay. Bruce, you are up next.
So, what is the rule on getting up? Is that half my movement?
It's half your movement, yeah.
Okay. I would like to... Fuck. How am I going to punch it? So I guess I can use my other half to fall down?
I mean, however you want to strike this thing, I leave that in your hands.
Okay.
The other half to fall back down. You're just trying to, like, crush it again?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to just, like, make... I will count this as an attack if you're trying to, like, attack this thing.
Okay. Yeah, I think I want to just go ahead and stand up and then jump up, do a flip, and then, like, fall back down.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and just roll me an attack for this one. Since we're just going to treat this one like an attack.
It's not great.
Oh, a 10? Okay. Yeah. Wow. Let me see. Yeah. So it's still attached to your back. That doesn't quite do it. Do you want to do anything with your bonus action?
Nope.
Light it on fire.
Oh, yeah, I guess do I still have the torch? I guess I would, right?
Do you still have the torch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I hold the torch up to the leech if I can.
Sure. Yeah. I will absolutely say you can do that.
Nice, good call.
It's easy enough to... actually, let me see. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll. I believe we said we would give you improvised weapons. Wow. Okay.
Oofda.
Okay. What's your damage? Since that
Burn, you little bastard.
crit. Oh wow, that's a D4. Okay, that's what I was gonna give the torch anyway. So, with you're gonna go ahead and deal a whopping 13 damage and fire damage to this leech on your back, and as you do so, it screeches and writhes and actually detaches from your back as it like shrivels and burns and recoils on the ground, sort of hissing and spinning before like shuddering and dying.
Nice. Okay.
Which leaves actually the one leech in front of Braxis here, who happens to be the next up, and it is going to attempt to attach to Braxis, missing once. Nope. All right, that's gonna be it. Braxis, you're up. What do you want to do about it?
Oof, I was gonna vomit some poison on that thing.
Okay. Well, you certainly vomit, and it takes that one damage.
One.
As it doesn't even attempt to, like, dodge, you know?
Yeah.
All right. But
That's all the leeches then.
Yeah, it's the only leech left. Go ahead and roll initiative if you haven't done so already. Okay. Alrighty, guys. What do y'all want to do about this one remaining leech?
Murder it.
Go ahead and do so. Just murder the shit out of it.
I had to reconnect.
That's okay.
All right, so I'm up, right?
Yep, I believe so.
Sorry, I rolled mine light.
All right, so what she's going to do is she's going to shove off the leeches that are on her, and where she is going to just fire an arrow at the leech that's in front.
Let's see, how close is that leech to you? Okay, that'll work. Go ahead and fire. 6 damage. Okay.
It worked.
Had you already attacked? You did already attack this leech, right, Braxis? You had hit it with one attack.
Yes,
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's what I thought. All right, so this is actually going to go ahead and do the job.
Hey, Hunter, I think you might have. I can't hear you right now if you're talking.
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself. Amanda just got
You're
home.
okay. You're okay. You're good.
Okay, yeah, so this final arrow is actually going to just sort of like Braxis, as you're engaged with this leech, is going to catch this leech in the side, which just sort of like knocks it over, and that is actually going to finish it for these leeches.
Nice. Good work.
Well done, guys.
Let's get these dead leeches off of you guys.
Yeah, I think Bruce just tries to get the leech off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Buttercup does. She tries to get the leeches off, and she's tired.
You want to stay with Daddy?
Okay, my apologies, guys.
That's all good.
All right, so what's going on? You guys have just finished up with these leeches. Bruce, you have a leech attached to your torso. Buttercup, you have a leech attached to your waist.
Burn the leech off.
Gonna burn them off. They detach and like land in a stinky, smelly mess on the ground.
Nice. Can I light the old fire?
Yeah. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a rest here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You are welcome to take a short rest. Recover if you like.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Would y'all like to do anything during this rest?
Heal.
Aside from healing?
I am right in calculating that I am down to 22 now, right? Health.
Probably. I'm kind of leaving that
I'm
up to you
thinking
guys to
so.
keep track of everything. Y'all done pretty well so far. Just like slaughtering your way through this corner of the cave.
So I don't want to use any hit die, but I do want to expend my key. So Bruce hangs out by the fire and just sits there and meditates for a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. You're gonna go ahead and meditate?
Yeah.
That's when like Bruce already made that decision prior to Buttercup opening her mouth because she's a little on the tired side. But she looks at Braxis and motions him over if he's got any damage dealt to him, and she has those healing potions from the and she has like 2 healing potions on her, and then she has the raw form of that moss for healing. So she's gonna eat the raw moss and then pass a vial to Braxis, and then motion for him to pass the other vial to.
Braxis doesn't take his vial. He just makes sure Bruce gets one.
I don't think. Well, after you don't take yours, Bruce definitely isn't gonna. So Bruce is like, "Oh no, I'm good."
So I guess we're just holding on to these potions for now. So we each have one.
Okay. Alright, so everyone's got one. That's A-okay. So would y'all like to proceed from here?
Do you guys want to continue for the night? It's like 1:30, almost 2 o'clock. Do you want to keep going?
It's up to you guys.
I am a-okay to keep running this. I'm also okay to continue on if y'all want to do like another sooner day before next Thursday, because I'm also okay to run next Thursday. I've got a lot of content prepared at this point.
Cool, yeah. Thursdays and Fridays.
Do y'all want to do tomorrow?
Do you want to tomorrow?
Yeah,
Oh
totally.
wait, if you guys are fine with doing tomorrow instead of the podcast, like I don't mind.
We can do podcast during the day because we still got like there's a solid 2.5 hours where Kaylee's asleep.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure we can coordinate that off stream.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and say tonight I'm pretty done. I'm pretty roasted.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we got a lot of RP done. You guys started making your way into Finnigan's bucket here. Y'all have moved Cecily Clifton into the cave.
Beatrice.
Or yeah, I'm sorry, Beatrice. Cecily's actually staying over in the stables right now, and you have commissioned, what is it, bed frames and a door for the cave.
And I think Eddie mentioned something about a couple of tables.
Yes, for
And a couple of tables. Okay, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. All right. Yeah, if you guys are down, I would be happy to pick this up tomorrow, just because like dungeons are dungeons.
absolutely.
And I have a lot of just like really wild stuff that I can't wait for us to jump into.
Cool. Yeah, I'm all about it.
So yeah, let's go tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool. Fun sesh, guys. Good work.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We had all kinds of folks just saying hi. But yeah, definitely appreciate you guys. Thank you to Hunter, Savannah, and Eddie for doing this. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night, probably around 10 o'clock.
Sounds awesome. We'll see everyone tomorrow at 10.